from that far side, and the 33-year-old Spanish keeper Vincent Gaeta has caught it over the line.
Incredible ending there. 1 or 2 late goals left, right and centre. Liverpool getting a fourth right at the death through Salah. Of course, Everton with that late winner at Watford as well. Some remarkable games. Let's quickly take you back then to John Anderson at lunchtime. Leicester-Chelsea. That was a cracker as well.
Leicester City 2, Chelsea 2. A terrific game sees these two top 4 teams consolidate their bids for Champions League football next season. Both had chances in an entertaining but goalless opening period, but the game exploded within a minute of the restart as Antonio Rudiger headed Chelsea in front from a corner. The lead didn't last long though, as a deflected shot by Harvey Barnes drew Leicester level, and 10 minutes later they led. Ben Chilwell sweeping home after Chelsea goalkeeper Willy Caballero, preferred to Kepa Arrizabalaga, had gone walkabout. But Rudiger proved the unlikely goal hero again for Chelsea with another set-piece finish, this time a magnificent header from a free kick to ensure a deserved point apiece for two thoroughly committed sides who served up a treat. Leicester City 2, Chelsea 2.
John, thank you. Now to that big battle at the bottom, Bournemouth and Aston Villa. More details from Barry Sway.
Bournemouth provided some fighting spirit to climb out of the bottom 3, trading places with their victims Aston Villa. Bournemouth starting strong. Dan Gosling firing over when he really should have scored on his 30th birthday, but teammates Philip Billing and Nathan Ackey were far less wasteful in front of goal. Bournemouth comfortably 2-0 ahead at the break. A second yellow for Jefferson Lerma, perhaps a slightly harsh second yellow, presented Villa with a lifeline early in the second half. Despite that one-man advantage, Villa could only find one goal. It was a header on his Premier League debut from Mbwana Samatta, but Villa just could not find a way of breaking down a stubborn Bournemouth who battled hard to ensure that they hung on for all 3 points. A very important 3 points too. Bournemouth 2, Aston Villa 1.
Nice one, Barry. We'll go now to the London Stadium, West Ham and Brighton. Further details on that 3-3 draw with Rich Wolfenden.
David Moyes will be furious this evening as he sees his West Ham side slip into the relegation zone after throwing away a 2-goal lead. It was Issa Diop and Robert Snodgrass who gave West Ham the lead in the first half, which was a very evenly contested one at that. The second half though brought more thrills. A deflected Snodgrass volley looked like it sealed the win for the Hammers in the second half, but for calamitous defending from Diop, Ogbonna and Fabianski, Pascal Gross was able to prod home to make it 3-2. And the equaliser came in controversial style as 36-year-old Glenn Murray scored his first goal of the season, which was initially ruled out for a handball, but after a long VAR check, Mike Oliver's decision was overruled. No side had quite enough in the tank to get a winner. West Ham United 3, Brighton and Hove Albion 3 was the final score.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere, Watford 2, Everton 3. The Toffees 2 down, 2 goals from Yerry Mina and a late winner for them. Remarkable stuff. Also goalless Newcastle and Norwich, useful point for both. And Crystal Palace 0, Sheffield United 1. The Blades for now up to 5th as their remarkable season continues. Can Manchester United go back to 5th themselves? Could Wolves end up there? That's the big game kicking off in about 15-20 minutes time. We're off to Old Trafford next for a cracker with Tom Rennie and Dave Kitson, Man United and Wolves. That is up next on Premier League Live.
Saturday is game day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's big ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Hi, Frank Lampard here. Hi, I'm Jack Grealish from Game Day.
I'm Nick Pope, Burnley goalkeeper.
I'm Ross Barkley. Remember that Saturday is game day on TalkSport.
Game day.
It's a brilliant goal.
This Saturday
on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
TalkSport.
Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated TalkSport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at TalkSport.com now.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new TalkSport swimming pool. Goff! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport.
The
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on Talk Sports.
Get a pickled egg, some pork scratchings and a punch-up on a pool table. In the tasty local battle cruiser, where you get 2 Cockney loudmouths for the price of 1.
The usual, is it, sir? 2 Nelsons and a packet of Jelly Hill flavoured crisps.
Cool, blimey. I love a duck, governor. It's time, gentlemen, please, to listen to The Sports Bar.
Open for business weeknights from 10 on Talk Sports.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to talksport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Welcome back to Badger Watch. We've been unlucky the last 2 nights, and unfortunately we haven't seen any badgers yet, but fingers crossed we'll be in luck tonight. Hang on. I think this might be it. It looks like something is about to emerge from the den.
Excuse me, mate. Do you know if there's a bookies around here anywhere? The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport.
Discovering a brave new world of big names, big games, bravado, bully and bookies. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6.
Crikey, it's Alanus Brazilius
On TalkSport.
Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from talksport.com.
Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder.
TalkSport. Premier League live with TalkSport.
Jordan Henderson, then Salah, then Firmino. Lovely touch, lovely shot, lovely goal.
Right-hand side, cross comes in. Loads of time for Doucouré to turn it into the back of the net and give Watford the lead.
When all around the Premier League are losing their heads, TalkSport's expert team will keep theirs.
It's in! Danny Ings! Matters ball over the top. One Matter finds Marcus Rashford.
Too easy, and this could be anything now for Chelsea.
Of course it is. For Sergio Aguero, who takes no prisoners.
Premier League live with TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Wolverhampton Wanderers from Old Trafford. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Reading, Stoke and Portsmouth striker, Dave Kitson. This is Premier League Live. Are Manchester United a club who are regenerating their culture under a manager who gets the club, or are they thrashing around aimlessly with an amateur boss and an out-of-his-depth chief executive? If you judged it by the January transfer window, or indeed by this entire Premier League season, then you'd have to say it's actually quite hard to pick one of those two options. In Bruno Fernandes, United have bought the box-to-box, all-action, world-class midfielder that this team has been missing since you-know-who went AWOL for the season, whilst in the same window, they also bought Watford flop Odion Ighalo, earning big money but not exactly setting the world alight in China for the last few years. The mystery of modern Manchester United continues to baffle and delight, depending on your perspective. Wolverhampton Wanderers have designs on United's league position and creating a legacy of their own. No doubt the Wolves are a well-run club, and Nuno has built a squad and a team who embody their boss and his mentality. If only they could stop conceding the first goal in matches, which they have done in 17 of their league games this season. In fact, their last away match, they conceded the first 2, and yet still somehow won. Nobody has recovered more points this season than Wolves. If they could keep the back door closed from the start of games, they could be competing with Europe's elite in the Champions League next season. United and Chelsea above them have left the door swinging open. Can they force their way through? Games like this will provide our answer. To the team news then, starting with Manchester United, the aforementioned Bruno Fernandes is in the side. He starts in midfield today in place of Nemanja Matic, who is suspended. It's David De Gea in goal. Back four of Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fred and Bruno Fernandes in midfield. Mata just in front of them. Andreas Pereira and Daniel James supporting Anthony Martial, who is up front. On the bench it's Romero, Jones, Lingard, Dalot, Greenwood, Chong and Williams. For Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rui Patricio is in goal. Back three of Roman Saiz, Willy Bolly and Conor Cody. Matinho and Neves in the central midfield, as they always are, with Matt Doherty and Johnny either side. Adama Traore and Diogo Jota supporting Adama Traore up for Raul Jimenez up front, with Traore on the other side. On the bench today for Wolves is Ruddy, Jordao, Neto, Podence, Gibbs-White, Dendoncker and Kilman. Alongside me, pleased to say, everyone's favourite co-commentator, everyone's favourite ginger lover, everyone's favourite evening friend, it is Mr. Dave Kitson. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm a lot better for seeing that West Ham result.
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this game, because we've moved on emotionally from that. And let's talk about Manchester United. Incredible, really, the way this season has gone for them. It seems like it's gone from hope to despair in almost an hourly basis. Where are they now with the new signings?
Yeah, well, they are... They're neither one or the other, are they? I mean, on their day, they're capable, they have the players, but the cohesion that, say, a Liverpool have, and even a City, I know they're not as potent perhaps as they were last season, but Leicester, you can see it in Leicester certainly. That cohesion is really important. When you've got players who keep leaving and players that keep coming in, all right, it's important to strengthen, but you never really get going. We've got a new one today, Fernandes from Sporting. I am really, really looking forward to seeing this lad, 25 years old, and he is a player, believe me. I spoke to Ricardo Rocha, who's a Benfica fan, and even he was waxing lyrical about this lad, saying he's a fantastic player, perfectly suited to Man U. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he gets on.
15 goals and 14 assists in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon this season, Bruno Fernandes. He's been compared by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Paul Scholes. I mean, that's a big billing, but they need someone who can live up to that billing, don't they?
Well, they do, but I mean, what's the starting point for doing that? It might be not putting pressure on him the moment he gets his foot in the door. That might be a good idea, Rob.
No, but he's got to take the pressure, isn't he? This is Manchester United. Well, there's no day where you're not under pressure, is there?
But you get pressure, but do you get it? Should you take it from your manager on day one? I mean, come on. Some of the things Ollie says are so naive. It's just quite remarkable, to be honest. I was looking at some of his comments. His quote from Ollie Solskjaer is: goal scorer and an assisting midfielder, a little bit like Paul Scholes. He struck the ball fantastically. His wonderful technique. He can assist. He's great from set plays. His long range pass. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And where's the guy at the back? The media suit saying, "Ollie, that's enough." Yeah. I think it's just quite remarkable. And then he finishes by saying he's even wearing the same number 18. I mean, the similarities never end.
What about Wolverhampton Wanderers? Incredible record of going behind in games, then getting something from it. What can we read into that? That only just over 300 minutes this season cumulative have they led Premier League games?
Yeah, do you know what that strikes me as? That strikes me the team that have been together, not a little bit too long, but just beginning to show the very, very early stages of comfort. Just that we've been together for a long time now. I was really surprised they didn't strengthen more heavily, both in the summer and in January. For me, they really, really strike me as the team that I played in at Reading. Yeah, fantastic players, but that 11 needs freshening up for me. It really, really does, because I just think that the hunger and desire to avoid the first goal has gone out the window a little bit.
They have signed Podence this week, who is on the bench for them from Olympiacos, Daniel Podence. Bruno Jordao on the bench as well, another new name, though with less high billing. So they are trying to bring players in, but unlike Manchester United, they're not getting in the first team. The first team, it almost picks itself, doesn't it, for Wolverhampton Wanderers?
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's exactly right. And I think that's a problem for the manager, Nuno. I think that is... You get this sometimes. I felt this happened to Pochettino at Spurs, actually, where it needed a manager to make really brave decisions and sometimes go against your natural instinct, which is, okay, they're the same players that have been with me for a long time, I can rely on them. There comes a time when you have to recognise as a player that things are stagnating a little bit, and you have to make those brave decisions. Pochettino didn't do it, and it cost him his job. I wouldn't like to see that happen to Nuno. I still think they're going great guns this season, but that squad, and definitely the first 11, needs freshening up.
Yeah, Jordao signed in August, hasn't played at all in the Premier League, which is why we're counting him as a new signing, has appeared in the League Cup, and Podence not into the 11 today, but we expect to see him at some point. Let's hear from Nuno Espirito Santo, shall we? Let's also hear from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the United boss.
I think we know each other really well. It's the 6th time since March that we play against them, 4th time this season. So I don't think there'll be too many surprises from either coach, or there might be. You never know. And for me, the fans have been backing us, and I'm sure they'll back the team again. And they're important for us, and this is an important game for us.
A tough game. Going to Old Trafford is always difficult, and you're going to face a very good opponent. But we are ready, knowing that we have to compete well.
He's a goal-scoring and assisting midfielder, a little bit like Paul Scholes. He can strike a ball fantastically. He's got such a wonderful technique. But he also plays, he's going to get assists from set plays and his passes, his range of passes. So similar type to Scholes, fiery as well, hates losing, same number on the back of his shirt.
I think he can give us good options. He's a solution. He fits in the profile that we think that we should do in this transfer window, bring players that can help us and make us stronger as a team. He's a good player. I think he fits in our idea of the game.
Nuno speaking about Podence, the new signing from Olympiacos, who is on the bench today. Fantastic against Tottenham, I think it was, in the Champions League earlier this season. Dave, how's this game going to go? Just before we go to our final ad break before kick-off, who wins it and how do they do it?
It is, Wolves have good pedigree here. I remember seeing the last game that they played, and and they are impressive when they play, and they have got players who seem to rise to the big occasions, certainly, but this is a big game for United. It's a bigger game for United. The results have gone their way in the top 4 so far. They can narrow the gap if they win this. I think they might just have a little bit too much for Wolves today, but it's going to be very, very close.
United's last home defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers was a 1-0 loss back in 1980, so it would be a rarity if Wolves are able to do it, but so rarely can they have been playing against Manchester United on what is a level playing field. They are level on points in the table right now. Victory for either would take them above Sheffield United into 5th in the table, chasing down Chelsea, who could only draw earlier today against Leicester City. So a big game as we head towards the closing stages of this season, the business end of the 1920 campaign. The players are in the tunnel. Kick-off in 5 minutes from now. You're listening to Premier League Live.
TalkSport. Download the TalkSport app now for online fun, fixture talk and lashings of live football. Football. Then stick it in your ear. Ouch. TalkSport. This is what real sport sounds like.
Hello, I'm Tom Rennie from TalkSport, and you've made the decision to listen to Premier League Live. I commend you on this decision. You're clearly a person who knows what's up and what's happening, as well as other phrases from 80s movies said by generic cool people in said movies. For example, Emilio Estevez. With that being said, why not try downloading TalkSport's football-related game day podcasts? Ahead of a Premier League weekend, usually on Thursday, Sam Matterface hosts the Game Day Premier League Preview Show podcast. On Saturday, we cut up the very best of our manager reaction and player interviews, bung in a few funny callers, and hey presto, you get the Your Verdict podcast. And on Monday morning, Danny Kelly is joined by the likes of Mark Webster, Mark Smith, Steve Lomas, David Connolly, and a host of other affordable names to look back at the footballing weekend, picking out the winners and losers in the Record Book podcast. Just search for Game Day Podcast and they will appear. I'm in some of these shows too.
TalkSport. Don't be like Alan Brazil. Never miss a day's output with the new updated TalkSport app. Is that right, Alan?
I'm absolutely knackered.
Download the app at TalkSport.com. This is what real sport sounds like.
This Saturday is Game Day on TalkSport 2.
Your go-to destination for a full-service Premier League experience.
One day, so much football.
He shoots, he scores.
This Saturday is Game Day on TalkSport 2.
It is game on.
TalkSport. Download the TalkSport app now for online fun, fixture talk and lashings of live football. Football. Then stick it in your ear. Ouch. TalkSport. This is what real sport sounds like.
Saturday is game day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's big ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Hi, I'm Matt Target from Aston Villa.
Hi, I'm Bournemouth centre-back Chris Mepham.
Hi, I'm Jan Vertongen. Listen to Game Day on TalkSport.
Game day.
It's a brilliant goal.
This Saturday
on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
TalkSport.
Get with the net, Grandad. Make space on your mobile for the TalkSport phone app, the channel-hopping, station-swapping gizmo that's taking the UK by storm. It's ear trumpet compatible. Download the TalkSport app now at TalkSport.com.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Wolverhampton Wanderers from Old Trafford. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Reading, Stoke and Portsmouth striker Dave Kitson. This is Premier League Live, and this is a massive game in the race for Champions League football next season. A slip earlier in the day by Chelsea has opened the door ajar for the likes of United and Wolverhampton Wanderers to force their way through. Right now, though, they both sit behind Sheffield United, who are fifth in the table following their victory over Crystal Palace earlier today. But victory here would see the Red Devils move back to fifth spot. Team news then, starting with Manchester United. The big news is that Bruno Fernandes, the big money signing, he starts today in the centre of midfield alongside Fred, replacing the suspended Nemanja Matic. It's David De Gea in goal for United. Back four of Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Midfield is Fred, Bruno Fernandes and Mata in the number 10 role. Andreas Pereira and Daniel James supporting Anthony Martial up front. On the benches, Romero, Jones, Lingard, Dalot, Greenwood, Chong and Brandon Williams for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. For Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rui Patricio is in goal. Back three of Conor Cody, Willy Bolly and Roman Saiz. João Moutinho and Ruben Neves in the centre midfield. Matt Doherty on the right-hand side. Johnny Otto on the left. Raul Jimenez through the centre with Adama Traore and Diogo Jota on the wings right and left. The bench is John Ruddy, Bruno Jordao, Neto, Podence, the new signing of Olympiacos, Gibbs White, Dendoncker and Kilman. Paul Tierney, our referee, has got us underway. Manchester United wearing red shirts, white shorts and black socks. They attack the goal away to our right in this first half. Kicking the other way, Wolverhampton Wanderers, black shirts, black shorts and orange socks. And it's United coming forward early doors here with Luke Shaw. Luke's pass intercepted by Raul Jimenez, who's surely brought down there by the late challenge of Maguire. Referee Tierney has given nothing. United retake possession.
For me, this is about Fernandes. I was really keen to see where he was going to play. I read a quote from Ollie saying he can play in a three-man midfield or as a 10 or in off the side or as a diamond. He didn't seem to know where he was going to play him, but it does look that he's a good 20 yards ahead of Fred in playing in that number 10 role.
Which is where you want somebody who scores as regularly as Bruno Fernandes. He is a man of many talents, gets forward, tenacious, eye for goal, good on assists as well. Is he the man to rejuvenate this Manchester United side? No Odion Igalo, by the way, today, for those who wanted to know. He wasn't actually in the UK yesterday when he signed for Manchester United. Would hopefully be here next week, but not in the matchday squad today. The former Watford man signed on transfer deadline day. Throw in here for United on the halfway line, just inside their own half, in front of the Wolves boss Nuno Espirito Santo, looking shaggy as ever with long grey black beard, sports coat on. Luke Shaw edges Manchester United forward down the left hand side. Easy for Daniel James, who's over on the left hand side for the moment for United. Wolves win the ball back. Good challenge though by Fred on the cover to prevent the breakaway by Wolves. Fred, the player of the month for Manchester United in December. Plenty of stick from fans and journalists alike for his under par performances since coming in from Shakhtar, but maybe just starting to show some green shoots of what they were expecting of him in midfield. United give the ball away on the halfway line. Wolves round the back here with Jota, Pereira and Lindelof on the cover, trying to prevent his advance. Jota's done well on this left-hand side to keep the ball. Bring in Johnny, return to him. Foul by Pereira. Wolves free kick on the left.
Yeah, really good play, actually. It's really good play from Wolves, and Pereira just over keen to get the ball off Jota in a dangerous area, commits a needless foul, and this is a good area for Wolves.
Martinho's over it. It's about 20 yards away from the attacking left corner of the penalty area. Too far out for a shot. Martinho places the ball down. International teammate for many years of Bruno Fernandes, of course. Ball whipped in towards the penalty spot. It's away by Lindelof. Saiss was the man challenging him. Recovered by Cody in the centre circle. The Wolves skipper looks right to Traore. Held up by James. Adama Traore with a shift of pace and carries on down the right hand side. Beats Shaw too, gets the cross over. Lindelof had to clear it in the 6-yard box there. There was no pressure on him from a Wolves player, but had to be cleared, and he knocks it out for a corner.
Brilliant from Traore. It's funny, actually, he needs to get as forward as he possibly can, because he'll skin Luke Shaw. Daniel James will catch him, which I was a little bit surprised he started on that side. But you can see, or at least we can see there, that when he does go up against Luke Shaw, he has got the beating of him all day long.
Corner right hand side, 5th minute of the match. Wolverhampton Wanderers with it. Martinho's ball towards Raul Jimenez. Shout of handball, breaks to Saiss, who gets the shot away. He's always going to find that difficult there, facing away from goal, kind of falling over on the turn. Not a great strike nonetheless.
No, if this falls to a striker, that might at least test De Gea. It's difficult because it's behind him. He has to spin almost 360 degrees to get a decent shot on this, and he puts it well over in the end. But it's good early pressure from Wolves,
as you'd expect from Wolverhampton Wanderers, showing no fear. And they've won the ball again in the centre of midfield. Here's Jota being chased down by Pereira. Still going, Jota in the area, running at Lindelof. He beats him, but as he tried to get around him on the outside, he poked it on towards himself, and he was too close to David De Gea, who picks it up.
I think Pereira needs to wake up, doesn't he? That's twice now. Once he's given away a foul, once he's been caught in possession. Here he is again. This should be good.
He's over on the right-hand side today for Manchester United. Finds a pass in towards Wan-Bissaka. Back towards Andreas Pereira again. Has been a favourite of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Pereira. Plays in all sorts of positions as well. Every time I watch him, I feel like he's playing in a different role.
Yeah, he is well liked by Ole. We're yet to see it really on any consistent level, but Ole must think there's something there.
He does count as an academy graduate, Pereira. He came to the academy at Old Trafford when he was 16 years of age, 24 now. He has created the most chances for United of any player in their side this season, but I think it's fair to say this is not a particularly creative side. So.
Yeah, there is something there for sure, but I'm not sure if they found his best position yet, and I'm not sure if because of that he's found his best form.
The ball from United, cleared away by Saiss, left-hand side of the defensive trio for Wolves, recovered by Juan Mata, who's getting a sort of run in the side now. He spent a lot of time on the bench without coming on. When United look desperate for creativity, when he has played in recent weeks, when I've seen him, he has looked impressive. He's certainly still a class player, Juan Mata. Finds the ball here into Fred, but Fred, his forward pass is intercepted, and Wolves look to counter. Jimenez trying to find Traore. Traore thinks he was fouled there by Luke Shaw. The referee Paul Tierney says no foul, and the ball rolls harmlessly through to David De Gea.
Well, I think Luke Shaw does have a little nibble at the back of Traore there. I think Maguire would have got there anyway because he was covering round, but I suppose it's one of those ones where you expect a player to go down, and when they stay on their feet you ask them why he didn't.
Here's Fred, lip of the centre circle, right hand side of the field. Looks towards Pereira, it's in towards Juan Mata. Mata right to Bruno Fernandes, who we haven't seen a great deal of in the opening exchanges. Here he is again. It's a good ball into Mata from Fernandes, then to Martial, back to Mata, chips it up towards the runner Daniel James. It's in between him and Fernandes, who was on his bike there, trying to get into the penalty area. Goes through to the goalkeeper though, the heavy through pass. Eight minutes gone here. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0. Another foul here by Luke Shaw as Matt Doherty chopped inside of him, just inside the Wolves half. Shaw's brought him down. Back underway with Jota. Jimenez on towards Martinho. Left to Jota now. He's got a runner ahead of him here in Johnny. And Johnny would have been through there after the through ball if not for Shaw on the cover with the big clearance.
Well, the old weaknesses for Man United are still there, aren't they? The Wolves have absolutely cut through the middle of them here. There's no centre half in the middle. It's Luke Shaw who has to come right across. And although it's good covering round, a better ball into Johnny there, and he would have tested De Gea.
We've got a throw in here, level with the penalty area on the left hand side for Wolves. Worked all the way back inside their own half to Conor Cody, trying to fire one of his trademark diagonals. He goes short to Bolly, back in the side after a long absence with injury. Lost Ryan Bennett yesterday on the transfer deadline to Leicester City. Ball down the left channel here towards Jota. Lindelof gets there first, edge of his own penalty area. Touch back towards David De Gea, all in lime green away to our left today. A man who's not avoided criticism this season for his performances. Down the line towards Daniel James. Push by Matt Doherty, says the referee. And after 10 minutes, David, it's got a bit flat here at Old Trafford.
It has. I think, if anything, Wolves are looking the more likely to do something. They seem so much more comfortable on the ball. And as here now, there is so much space between the midfield and the defence for Wolves to exploit.
Jimenez was being hacked at by Fred, but he still found a pass. It's worked to Doherty, right to Traore. Level with a penalty spot, right-hand side, up against Shaw. Cross hits the chest. It's not a great ball there from Traore. A rare misstep from him in what's been a breakthrough season in the top flight of English football for Adama Traore. Martial stopped from turning there by Bolly, just inside the United half. No yellow card given again, but it always annoys me that in these games, the amount of fouls you see just to stop the opposition getting forward, not trying to win the ball in any way, and yet it never gets punished with more than a free kick.
No, it's a strange one, and there's another one, and I guarantee you, in the second half, that is a yellow card all day long on Juan Mata.
Not given there though. Saiss was the man with the challenge. Free kick taken by Manchester United to Martial down the right hand side, held up by Cody. Still going there, Martial into Mata, muscled off it by Saiss. Martinho down the left channel to Jota, who's got the pace, trying to flick it first time into Jimenez, and Lindelof was in the right place at the right time to stop that pass getting through.
Well, they look very dangerous on the break.
He was on the edge of his own area, looks to spread the play outright with those trademark diagonal passes. Just wonder how many times a season he does this exact same pass, Cody, and yet so difficult to stop. All you can do if you close it down, as Martial has done there, is knock it into walls, get the ball back anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you can try and press, but he does it when United seem to stop pressing and that ball is on. And what's remarkable is that the ball seems to find its target, and you'd think after a while Luke Shaw would realise that all he has to do is step up 5 yards and he's going to put him off playing that ball.
Well, Jimenez controls from the throw back towards Bolly, blasts it upfield to nowhere, really very un-Wolves-like. Wan-Bissaka though has been robbed by Johnny on the halfway line left hand side with the help of Jota. Into Martinho, back to Saiss. Wolves happy to keep possession again. They're not exactly going for the jugular here, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Clipped down the line towards Adama Traore. Here he is, goal side of Luke Shaw after a deflection, running at Maguire, beating Maguire, gets towards the end line, cross comes in, it's away by Wan-Bissaka. It was a high boot from the England fullback as Jota looked to head it. No complaint from Diogo Jota, but boot seemed very high there when he won that.
It really was. I think he got a little bit of the ball, a little bit of the face. Again, in the middle of the pitch, that might well have been a foul.
Martial's done well to beat Saïs to this high ball. Then surely was fouled there by Saïs, not given. Ball then won in a 50-50. Moutinho beats Fernandes. Moutinho has stayed down here. Wolves have kept possession. Maybe not noticed their own player is the man down as Neves flicks it out wide towards Raul Jimenez. And we do now have a break in play for some treatment as it's gone out for a throw to United. Moutinho just holding his right knee there.
I know exactly what he's done because I've done it several times myself. He's opened up his medial ligament here from this tackle exactly the same way as I did it. And that can be very, very nasty. He might be able to run it off, but it is certainly painful because you're not expecting it.
The challenge from Pereira on Jota initially that may well have been a free kick. That's what led to the scramble in midfield before Moutinho went in himself to try and win the ball back. He's getting some treatment now with 15 minutes gone. Just inside the half is the ball for a throw-in. Does give me a moment to tell you some of the other scores from today. Another incredible day in the Premier League. Stories galore. Leicester City 2, Chelsea 2 was the early score of the day. Big win for Bournemouth. 10 men they had in their 2-1 victory over Aston Villa. Sheffield United 5th in the table after their 1-0 victory against Crystal Palace. Guaita, the goalkeeper, conceding direct from a corner. It was Norwood's corner. Guaita didn't catch it until he'd gone over his own goal line. May well have gone down as a goalkeeper own goal. Otherwise Norwood has scored directly from that corner. Liverpool 4-0 victors over Southampton. Mo Salah starring in that one. Newcastle 0, Norwich 0. Best forgotten. Two dramatic games down the bottom of this list here. Watford were 2-0 up against Everton. They went on to lose by 3-2. Late goal from Theo Walcott, giving Carlo Ancelotti's side the win. Everton had 10 men. Dell sent off in the second half, and West Ham almost as bad as Watford. They led 2-0 and 3-1 in their game, contrived to draw 3-3 at home against Brighton. Incredible day.
It is. It's just a sign of the Premier League. I mean, there's no one really putting any sort of run together outside of Liverpool, unless you want to talk about defeats. But it's very, very open outside of the top one this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Relegation race. Brighton in 15th on 26 points, Watford in 19th on 23. So no one is down as yet, apart from maybe Norwich on 18. We are back underway. Moutinho's all right. The Wolves are on the ball in the right back area with Doherty. Up towards Traore. 4 players around him. He still finds a smart pass back to Moutinho, who is okay and back on. Here's Jota on the halfway. Good challenge by Pereira, who's been a bit more tenacious in the last few minutes. He had a real struggle in the opening 5 or 6 here. Forward ball by Bruno Fernandes, intercepted by Ruben Neves. Recovered by Fernandes for United. Into Shaw. Back to Martial. Then Bruno Fernandes quickly round the corner. Back to Shaw though. Here's Fernandes again. Corner of the area. Left hand side. Trying to find an outside of the boot pass towards Martial on the run. Bolly got his body in the way and knocks the ball out for a corner to United.
He does look sharp, Fernandes. It's all come from him. The little 1-2s around the box, but it's got end product. You know, that comes up. We see this a lot from Man United, side to side across the penalty area. But eventually someone has to play a telling pass, and that's what he's done there. That's what United have missed.
Corner on the left. Away by Cody, not a good delivery. Recovered by Luke Shaw. To his right is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Then to Fred. Into Pereira. Back to Fred. Lovely crossfield pass to Mata. Controlled first time into Bruno Fernandes. Back to Mata. Better from Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes into Juan Mata. Onto Daniel James. Back to Juan Mata. Low cross comes in. Away by Bolly into Pereira, who shanks it wide from the edge of the penalty area. Had some time there to set himself and strike better. Didn't either. And that's a goal kick.
Yeah, it's almost on top of him a little bit. He actually gets a nice clean strike. It was just off target. He needs to try and fade this. Instead, he's gone for a side foot and he's caught it so cleanly, it's just gone in a straight line 5 yards past the post.
It was better though for Manchester United. Some lovely link play and interplay there between Mata and Fernandes.
Yeah, Fernandes he does look the real deal, I have to say. He looks a very impressive player. It's certainly all the good stuff that United are doing are coming through him.
At the other end, Wolverhampton Wanderers, always dangerous with Adama Traore in their side. Here he is now. A few step overs, 2 players around him, tries to cross, blocked by Fred, who got back there to help out Luke Shaw, who was on the back foot. as most people are, to be fair, against Adama Traore, certainly this season. Moutinho will go over to take this corner, still just running off that injury he picked up a couple of minutes ago, not moving particularly freely. So he's forward, volley forward for Wolves. Neves on the edge, lurking, looking for that spectacular volley he's so known for. Cleared away by Fred, recovered by Neves, loops it in the air. Moutinho can keep this on here on the right hand side, got beaten to it by Bruno Fernandes. Moutinho was a little bit taller, he might have got there first. Fernandes had to read the situation and get something on that, and he did.
I think Moutinho's right knee will be okay, because that's the testing bull, whipping it with your right foot. That opens up the joint, and he seems all right. That was a good corner.
Another chance here for Moutinho. Second corner in quick succession for Wolves. The referee wants a word with Pereira, who's being a bit too physical with Raul Jimenez in the penalty area. Well, according to him anyway. Still plenty of jostling going on as the ball is whipped towards the back post. Doherty wins the header. It's looping towards the back post. It's punched away by David De Gea. Raul Jimenez does brilliantly there to turn the ball forward, but the referee has said high boot against Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, well, it's funny how it wasn't given the first time.
I mean, he's falling kind of over and has been able to hook the ball back into his own path. I don't know about that. Decent corner though from Moutinho. David De Gea had to make the save.
Yeah, they've done it a couple of times, actually trying to hit that back post, and it seems to be playing for the second contact in the box, which I'm not a fan of. I think if you've got big players like Wolves have at the back, and you've got a big front man, if the ball is right and they get there first, the run is right, it's very, very difficult to deal with. Far harder to score from a two-contact corner for me.
Shaw into James. James to Fernandes. Left to Daniel James, who's round the back here for United. Cross comes in. It's away by Cody. Recovered by Fred. On towards Pereira on the edge. Right to Wan-Bissaka. Back towards Pereira. Cross is poor. Cleared away by Cody. Mata battling for it in the area with Martial and James. It was Martial it went near to. He was claiming a penalty there, but I think he's rather falling over as he tried to turn the ball towards goal. Wolves have cleared it, but it's been recovered by Maguire on towards Shaw. Martial back to Mata, back to Martial, return ball to Mata. It's away by Cody. Recovered again by Manchester United, who are going through the gears here. Bruno Fernandes, good player, back to Mata. On to Fred, then Pereira, first time on towards the academy graduate. The versatile Solskjaer favourite. Fred onto Mata on this right hand side, about 40 yards from goal. Jota chasing the ball around here, looking a bit frustrated, the Wolves man. Wants a teammate to come and help him. United keep possession. It's a good spell this, the Solskjaer side. 65% of the ball in the opening 22 minutes. And they've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka carrying them forward here. Martial turns. Good challenge by Neves. And they look to counter here. Wolves, great ball on the outside of the boot from Neves to Jimenez. Released off the shoulder of Lindelof. The Mexican then chips it crossfield for a runner. It's Doherty, headed back to Neves. Volley back into Doherty's path. Good play there. Slow cross comes in. Intercepted by Lindelof. Then Maguire further away. Well, just as United start to look dangerous, Wolves sense a chance on the break.
Oh, it's brilliant from Wolves. It really is. It's a counter that caught United napping, and you can see how vulnerable they are at the back on that counter, as we mentioned within the first few minutes of this game.
Bruno Fernandes into Martial. It's a win by Connor Cody. And Bolly's lucky there, as he's not quite got the ball under his control to get a forward pass towards Moutinho. He helps it on towards Jota, who's dispossessed by Fred, who I think maybe is begrudgingly getting a bit of love from the United fans in recent times. He's certainly been a favourite punching bag for many.
Yeah, well, no one likes to be proved wrong, do they? But yeah, he's certainly been United's best player in the last month, without a doubt.
Good to see some improvements from a man who's taken his fair share of stick. Were you ever hated by the fan base and were able to turn it around, Dave?
I think I still am.
Yeah. Did you ever turn it around? By anybody?
No, at Portsmouth, no. But that was a toxic situation. But no, hated by plenty of away supporters. I'm not quite sure why, to be honest.
No.
The strangest one is that I went on loan to Middlesbrough and scored 3 goals in 6 games, and they booed me forevermore. When I'm still not quite sure what I did wrong to them.
From hated to loathe, the Dave Kitson story. I look forward to the book.
Number 57, if ever I've heard one.
Paul is back with Rui Patricio here for Wolverhampton Wanderers, the goalkeeper. Another man all in lime green today. Chipped out to Johnny, back to Neves. Has a lovely forward pass again from Ruben Neves. On towards Traore, who's taking on Fred. He's fallen over but gets back up again, and he crosses. He's dug that out. It's a deep one, recovered by Jota. Across the face of goal himself to nowhere. Not a great ball there from Diogo Jota. And Fred will bring United clear. Certainly had the opportunities, haven't they?
Yeah, it's good play again from Wolves. Once they stretch the play, United are all over the place. They just don't seem to be able to get close, and Traore really is having a field day. Everything that Wolves are doing that's good seems to be coming from that right wing.
Fred in the centre circle, on towards Shaw. 25 minutes gone here, it's 0-0 between these two. On towards Martial, who's onside here. Round the back of Bolly. Return ball to Mata. It goes left to Pereira. On towards Shaw. Trying to find Daniel James in the area. It's well intercepted by the retreating Wolves defenders. Maguire picks it up. Tries one from distance himself. Didn't quite get hold of that one though, the Manchester United captain, and that's going to be a goal kick.
Well, I think he let the crowd get to him there, but why not? I mean, he scored a perler the other week for his first United goal from a similar distance. Just cut across that one.
He certainly, as you say, is capable of that kind of thing, and that's why he's been brought in as well, not just to be the lead defender at the club, but also to start attacks.
Yeah, he is capable. I used to see him do it in training pretty often as a young man. 19, he probably would have been then, and used to practice free kicks as well, and he certainly has got an all-round game.
It's been a great all-round game so far for us to watch. Two teams just feeling each other out. We know how important this game could be in the context of the season. At the moment, they're both trying to get back above Sheffield United, who find themselves 5th in the table. Here's a ball towards Bruno Fernandes down the right channel from Wan-Bissaka, challenged by Cody I thought it came off Bruno Fernandes last. It's gone for a United throw into Wan-Bissaka, then to Mata. Pereira with an awful pass in field to Fred. No chance he was doing anything with that. And it's recovered by Cody, who wants to hit the diagonal on towards Jota. It's won by Lindelof. Jimenez had come short for it as Cody went long. Communication hasn't quite been there from the Wolves attack so far. Here on the left hand side is Daniel James. Cross is blocked in the area by the retreating Matt Doherty. Recovered by Daniel James again. 1-2 with Mata, back to James, on towards Mata, blocked by Doherty again. But his poke upfield is intercepted by Bruno Fernandes. As Adama Traore looked to get on the end of that flicked ball forward.
Oh, it must be so frustrating for Martial standing in the box and making those little runs and double runs. The balls that United are getting, the positions that they're getting, particularly on the left with Dan James and Luke Shaw, are good positions, but the balls coming in are dreadful.
28 minutes gone here. It's not been an action-packed game so far at Old Trafford. Ball is out right to Pereira. Martial with a control on the turn that totally took Roman Saiz out of the game. Saiz had to bite back and foul him.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly it. He was away there. Martial spins in brilliantly because he dives in, and he has to bring him down because he's one-on-one after that, Martial. And the pace of this boy, he probably would have tested Patricio.
Well, it's a free kick in a dangerous position here for Manchester United. It's about 12-15 yards away from the penalty area, right hand side, probably just a bit too far out for a shot. But the perfect position for Bruno Fernandes to show us what he's got in these situations. He's the man over it, right arm goes up. Freddie's there too, in the howling wind around Old Trafford. Fred leaves it. Fernandes takes it towards Maguire. Not a great delivery from Fernandes. It was too close to the goalkeeper, also a bit under hit, and straight out of play too.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think you need somebody to run across the middle. You know, those free kicks from there are that close that you just need pace on it, and you need runners. You need one across the near, one across the middle, and one across the back. And by the time that ball went out of play, there was only Harry Maguire that had actually made a run into the box.
Jota on the halfway, to Raul Jimenez, back to Jota, who's away from Fred. Running towards Maguire, he wants a release pass. It's a poke right towards Traore, but he's been fouled there by Pereira, who's given a really petulant performance here. He certainly looks like the weak link in this team.
He has. I don't like to say it, because obviously he's clearly a good player, otherwise he wouldn't be playing at this level, but at the moment he looks well out of his depth. I don't know if it's a one-off game, but his decision making, that one there, the ball is 5 yards away by the time he actually gets there, and makes a completely unnecessary challenge. He did one in the first 3 minutes as well. This is where actually you need a leader on the pitch to get a hold of him and tell him to sort himself out, and no one's doing it.
Chance here for Ruben Neves. Well, he has a wonderful strike from distance on him. It's around 30 yards from goal, just right of centre. Moutinho is there too, but Neves fancies this, and he got underneath it, never came down again. They all love that Ronaldo effort these days, don't they? And no one seems to be able to actually execute.
No, I mean, just as you're standing there ready to run up, everyone's really good at looking like Ronaldo. Not many people are very good at actually doing it like Ronaldo.
Doesn't score enough, Ruben Neves, for a man of his technical ability. Last goal was in the victory over Aston Villa in November. Hasn't scored away from Molineux since August. He does have that ability to strike the football so beautifully. Ruben Neves, but not that time. A foul here on Martial on the halfway. Cody through the back of him. Had to push high on the United number 9 there. 30 minutes played. Manchester United 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 on Premier League Live. And Harry Maguire just saying to Paul Tierney that there's a few too many fouls going on Anthony Martial right now.
Yeah, and do you know where that comes from? Not giving a yellow card when he should have in the first few minutes. He's made a rod for his own back, the referee, and Maguire's right.
Martial again finds a ball right to Wan-Bissaka, beaten to the 50-50 by Saiss, who'll chip it upfield. Lovely flick by Raul Jimenez, trying to release Jota, and Jota gets away from Fred, and he carries Wolves from left to right over the halfway line in towards Doherty, back towards Jota again. Doherty continues his run. Diogo Jota is held up, and he's done well for Wolves to get them in the United half. Crossfield towards Saiss from Ruben Neves, just inside his own half. Just wasn't an option for him right there, was there?
No, and actually, you do see that's what Wolves are actually quite good at. It's quite an underappreciated part of the game, that if it's not on, don't force it, keep the ball, try and create another opportunity. There's a lot of players who just try and play something aimlessly there.
There's Traore running at Maguire, can't get away from the United captain. And in fact, it's Maguire's forward pass to Martial, which gets them on the front foot again, but he's beaten by Bolly. Shipped by Wolves towards Traore. Shouts of handball, not given, but you may as well go back towards the halfway line now, because if you score it will get disallowed. And in fact, they did try to do that, but it was a poor pass from Traore towards Matt Doherty, and it's intercepted by Bruno Fernandes. Into Mata, back towards Fred now. Forward to Mata, Moutinho for company. Out left towards Daniel James, corner of the area, running at Matt Doherty, tries to cross, it's blocked. Neves will poke it clear towards Jota. Lindelof beats him to the 50-50. Recovered by Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes from distance. Oh, it wasn't a bad effort. He struck across the ball, but it span away from goal and wide.
Well, he's not shy, is he? And he caught that pretty cleanly. And actually, United have missed this as well. You know, there's a lot of. You need someone who's going to actually take the game by the scruff of the neck and have a go. And if you've got the technical ability, why not?
He certainly does have the technical ability. Great goal-scoring record as well. Bruno Fernandes. top scorer from midfield in Portuguese football last season. As we mentioned earlier on as well, for Sporting this campaign, plenty of assists, plenty of goals, plenty of impact in games. It is really, statistically at least, what United have been missing all season long, and some would say the entire time that they've been asking Paul Pogba to provide that for them.
Yeah, I think given the fact that Sporting have got a lot of financial problems of their own, but they dug their heels in on this one in terms of the transfer fee. They know exactly how good he is.
Wolves trying to counter here. Jimenez onside, round the back of Maguire. Jota running in the centre. Jimenez low cross. It's not good enough. But, well, I was about to say there that the runner was brought down in the penalty area by Bruno Fernandes, but the referee has given a free kick against Johnny.
Yeah, he has. Well, there's no argument from either team, and I think actually De Gea's just had a little word as well to say don't try it on, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
Yeah, I'd love to see a replay of that, because I was just about to tell you that there was a penalty there to Wolves, because Johnny went down under challenge. Ball hadn't reached him, whistle went, but Paul Tierney saw it the other way. Not a great ball though from Raul Jimenez, was it?
No, it wasn't, but yet again, you know, when United squeezed their half too high, Wolves are so good at picking holes in them. And yet again on the counter-attack, it's something that United just... Well, I was going to say they can't deal with it. They have actually dealt with it, but they look really cagey in doing it.
Jota coming forward again for Wolves, right to Adama Traore. Oh, the shot from Traore. He got right behind it, and it's gone just wide, but De Gea scrambling.
Yeah, I thought it was in, and this is what Wolves do really, really well. And they've done it time and time again, switching the play from left to right really quickly. Because Luke Shaw covers ground so narrow that it leaves a whacking great hole in that position, and Traore just cuts across it and sends it wide of the post. It's a warning shot for United.
Well, we're just seeing the angle on our monitors from behind Traore as he struck that, and I think he's got to do better. No one came to him. He had time to set himself to pick his spot.
Yeah, it's that right side for Wolves yet again. But it's interesting, every time Wolves get it seems definitely a ploy from Wolves that when they get the ball on this left, United narrow up, and they're so narrow that Traore is just standing there, and they're really good at switching the play quickly and catching United out.
There's Wan-Bissaka for Manchester United. 35 minutes gone. It's 0-0 at Old Trafford. Fernandes on debut, forward to Wan-Bissaka, clip down the line towards Pereira, return ball to Wan-Bissaka, won by Matinho, forward towards Jota, volleyed infield to Raul Jimenez, just over the halfway line. Jimenez has seen something there that nobody else has.
Yeah, Traore made a run centrally. I think Jimenez is so used to seeing him out on the wing that he thought, if I just put it there, Traore is quick enough to catch it.
Well, it's not been a bad 37 minutes or so for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Have actually conceded the first goal in 17 of their Premier League games this season. The last 8 in a row they have conceded the first goal. So it's quite encouraging for Nuno, considering they do tend to grow into games and get better as it goes on.
Yeah.
They haven't conceded here, and haven't really conceded any great chances either.
No, they haven't. You know, United have been pretty inept when they've got in. They've got into the positions. That's not the issue. But the final ball, the delivery, has just not been there, particularly from that left-hand side, as we said earlier.
Here's Fred. He'll find a pass back to Lindelof via Luke Shaw. Fernandes into Martial. Cody forcing him away from goal. Wolves winning the ball back again. Up towards Raul Jimenez, beaten in the air by Harry Maguire. And Traore just has the strength to leave Pereira on his backside. Not a good pass, from Traore though. Intercepted well by Fred, and Pereira carries United forward. Back to Fernandes. He'll go right to Wan-Bissaka. Midway inside Wolves territory now. Right hand side. Return ball to Fernandes. Goes straight to Jota, and Wolves can break here. Oh, and he tried to release Jimenez. Jota with an outside of the right boot pass, but it was straight to Maguire. Certainly break seems to be continually on for Wolves. Yet to execute one well though.
Yeah, actually, United, and in particular Fernandes, aren't being helped by the fact that when they play that in ball into Martial on the edge of the box, he keeps getting bullied off it.
Well, here's Daniel James here, found by Fred, brought down by Bolly, was he? Referee says no free kick. Breaks to Mata, left to Pereira. Corner of the area, left-hand side. Andreas Pereira against Bolly, back towards Fred. Fred square to Mata. Mata with his back to goal finds a simple pass right to Wan-Bissaka, on to Martial, back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka again. Here's Martial into Fred, turns forward, on to Mata, back to Fred, slightly too heavy, recovered by the new boy Fernandes. Then Luke Shaw on the left hand side, infield towards Fred, on towards Mata. Mata helps it on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Takes on Johnny, outside then inside, didn't really look confident of beating him. Throw in to United by the corner flag. Wan-Bissaka takes him in towards Fred. Fernandes infield to Maguire. Maguire out to the left hand side here. And Pereira into Martial again. Return ball out to that side. Daniel James leaves it for Shaw. Shaw's low cross into Bruno Fernandes. Shot was on target by Fernandes, but straight at the goalkeeper. Wolves looked to break, but Maguire has won it back. Fernandes on to the left hand side, and Daniel James running at Doherty in the area into Martial, pokes it back to Fernandes again, gets another shot away. Didn't have the power behind it this time. It loops up into the air, then bounces into the arms of Rui Patricio.
Well, it's the first time Wolves have looked a little bit ragged, and the first time Luke Shaw has cut the ball back and found somebody on the edge of the box, and it's Fernandes. And I have to say, with his technique, there's nothing wrong with a strike, but it's straight down Patricio's throat, and he catches it quite comfortably.
It is incredible how many times a strike goes directly to the goalkeeper without him having to move.
Yeah. I think the concentration is that much. You just think, all I need to do is get this on target, and you do, and it's so frustrating when you hit it so cleanly and it goes straight down the middle of the goal.
Fred now on towards Mata to Wan-Bissaka. Here's Fernandes again, who's certainly had an impressive last 10 minutes or so, though he is still maybe not quite up to speed. Crossfield pass there was straight at Doherty, who intercepted. Traore looked to break. Shaw has brought him down. And that's really the only way you can stop Adama Traore.
Yeah, Luke Shaw he's decided that dropping off isn't the answer anymore. Even if he gives Traore 5 yards, he'll still skin him. So he's gone right in tight, try and stop him from turning.
.41 minutes on the clock here, heading towards half time. It's very much been a sparring session so far for these two. Point doesn't really do either a favour. Victory would move one of these two teams to 5th in the table. Got to capitalise when the teams above you have dropped points, as Chelsea did earlier today against Leicester City, who sit just above them, of course, in the table. Here's Fred, centre circle, wants a runner, chipped out right to Mata. Yeah, Johnny read it but couldn't keep the ball in play. United will take the throw in with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Mata leaves it for him. Wan-Bissaka's throw back to Lindelof. Poor pass, and Wan-Bissaka has dived in there and he's connected with Johnny, and Johnny's gone down here screaming. Free kick has been given, and Wan-Bissaka there, he does dive in, that is what he does, and it's an awful pass to him. Actually, Moutinho is taken out in the end.
Yeah, it is a terrible pass.
It's not a good challenge, really.
No, it's not. It is probably a yellow. I mean, he has to go for it, but Lindelof really does sell him short. And he dives. I think he's trying to flick it round the corner, misses the ball, and catches the in-rushing Moutinho. He's been in the wars.
Just studs up there as well, that challenge. It's not a yellow card. Maybe could have been, but there are certainly some doubts creeping in about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Was big money signing from Crystal Palace during the summer. Played a lot of football on his debut season. Luke Shaw on the other side of Man Utd dealing with a few doubts. His pass infield here was poor. Looped upfield, and Traore's got the strength to beat Maguire, who had his hands up on Traore there. Maguire gets back at him. Fred helping out, gets to the second ball before Johnny is able to, and Traore here might have a problem here with his shoulder.
He may well have. I'm not sure. It's difficult to tell how much pain he's in, but he certainly felt something go in his shoulder. I don't know if he's dislocated it or just pulled something. But he seems to be in a bit of pain.
Well, Maguire, moments ago, he got into a bit of trouble and he put both arms up around Adama Traore in the penalty area. Could easily have been a penalty. He almost realises he's in the area, then lets go, but then grabs his arm, and that's where it seems like his arm may have just got a bit dislocated there somewhere.
Yeah, he's got two hands on Traore's arm. He's definitely gripping it. It gives it a bit of a tug. And Traore's felt something go in that left shoulder.
He immediately gave a message to the bench. So it might be something that they were expecting to happen.
Yeah, it's very, very Harry Maguire defending. He was like that in training. He was so hands-on. It was horrible. I hated playing against those kinds of defenders, the good ones, as we say.
But is he good enough for Manchester United? Another player where the debate has raged all season long. Has he had a good campaign? People tell me he will be a success story of the season. I'm not too sure.
No, well, I think he's done as well as he can in a team that is, an average team at the moment. We have to say, and I'm sure in time he'll be helped by the players that United are attempting to bring in. But for me, at the back, there's no doubt about it. They are still very, very weak, and we can see that in the left back position here today, and in the right back position where big money has been spent, and still it's not quite right.
Daniel Podence is out warming up here for the Wolves. Looks like Traore is going to try and carry on, but he doesn't look comfortable at all at the moment on his arm.
It'll be a real shame if he does have to go off. Hopefully at half time they can get him right, get him back out there. But he has been, I think, for me, certainly Wolves' most dangerous player in this first half.
Maguire forward, on to Shaw now. Gets away from Neves and runs towards the edge of the area. 1-2 with Pereira. He's got it caught under his feet there. Shaw, it's up towards Jimenez. Fouled by Lindelof, and again it's another one they're going to get away with.
It's straight through the back. It is straight through the back of Jimenez. How is it not a yellow card?
Both teams continually giving these kinds of free kicks away, and the referee is happy for them to continue. 2 minutes added on at the end of the opening 45 here, of which we are into the first minute. Someone running the half-time entertainment thought the whistle had just gone. Can you name that tune? If you can, we will give a prize away. Only joking. We haven't got the money for prizes round here. Maybe United do. I'll make a phone call. Another foul here. This time it's on Doherty from Daniel James. Just inside their own half here, Wolves. Will either of the two managers be happy at half-time, Dave?
Well, do you know what? When you can hear the crowd talking to each other, I think that tells you everything you need to know about the performance in this first half.
Not been a thriller. Maybe a final chance here for Wolves. No, another overhit cross from Diogo Jota, not for the first time today.
And I think the thing is, I think there's not a lack of effort, is there? It's just a lack of incisiveness, cohesion. That word again that we used before the game. They still don't look like a cohesive unit, United, to me.
And the half-time whistle goes, and there's a whimper of applause around Old Trafford. Score 0-0. Not a great deal to talk about so far. A couple of half chances at either end. Debutant Bruno Fernandes going near. Wolves at the other end, whenever they've got round the back, just haven't managed to get the situations right. And that is why we are level at 0-0 at half-time. Analysis to follow this break. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Saturday is game day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's big ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Hi, Frank Lampard here.
Hi, I'm Jack Grealish from Game Day.
I'm Nick Pope, Burnley goalkeeper.
I'm Ross Barkley. Remember that Saturday is game day on TalkSport.
Game day.
It's a brilliant goal.
This Saturday
on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
TalkSport. Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated TalkSport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at TalkSport.com now.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new TalkSport swimming pool. Goff! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport. The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on TalkSport.
Get a pickled egg, some pork scratchings and a punch-up by the pool table. In the tasty local battle cruiser where you get 2 Cockney loudmouths for the price of 1.
The usual, is it, sir? 2 Nelsons and a packet of jellied ill-flavoured crisps.
Oh, blimey. I love a duck, governor. It's time, gentlemen, please, to listen to The Sports Bar. Open for business weeknights from 10 on TalkSport.
TalkSport. Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to TalkSport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Welcome back to Badger Watch. We've been unlucky the last 2 nights, and unfortunately we haven't seen any Badgers yet, but fingers crossed we'll be in luck tonight. Hang on. I think this might be it. It looks like something's about to emerge from the den.
Excuse me, mate. Do you know if there's a bookies around here anywhere? The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport.
Discovering a brave new world of big names, big games, bravado, bully and bookies. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6.
Crikey, it's Alliance Brazilians
on TalkSport. TalkSport. Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents, and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com.
Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder.
TalkSport.
Half-time here in our final game of Saturday's Premier League action. It's Manchester United against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and it's goalless at half-time. No highlights to bring you because there's not really been many highlights, Dave Gibson, to be fair. What's going on with Manchester United? Why aren't they on the front foot? And would you say it's been a poor performance from them?
Yeah, it's just a broken team, isn't it? It's difficult to know what they're doing when they go forward and how they're trying to attack. For some reason, there's a real reluctance to actually cross the ball. I don't know whether that's just because Martial's in there and that's not really his strength. But what they're actually doing when they do get into the areas to cross the ball isn't working anyway. You know, the Wolves' back four really are under back three are under no pressure at all. And not only that, the whole thing is being undermined by the fact that Wolves, who are very good at keeping the ball, when they counter, United are really, really nervous of them when they go forward. They haven't broken through yet, they're just about dealing with it. But a better ball on 2 or 3 occasions and Wolves are going to score.
Adama Traore had an issue there at the end of the first half. Hopefully he's okay to come out for the second. And he's going to be crucial, isn't he, if Wolves are to score in this game?
If he doesn't make it out for the second half, it's a huge loss, not just for the game, but especially for Wolves, because he has been their most dangerous player. Luke Shaw cannot deal with him at all. He doesn't know whether to stick or twist, go close or drop off. And that is the difference actually between United and Wolves, that when Traore does get into that position, and indeed out on the left as well, they cross the ball. You know, they've got Jimenez in there and they want to try and find him, and they're not afraid to cross the ball, and it is causing havoc in the United back four. If I really hope to see him in the second half, because he's an exciting player, and if the game's going to do anything, it looks as if it's going to come from him.
You can see why opposition fans don't have a great deal of sympathy for Manchester United's current plight when you consider Bruno Fernandes, £60 million in midfield, Fred, £60 million alongside signing, where Mata ahead of him is £40+ million when they bought him. How has that trio got on today, and what are you made of the debut boy?
Well, it's not too bad. Fernandes, for me, is being completely undermined by the fact that he's playing just in that kind of inside right primarily. He has been all over the place, but he's on the inside right, and he's trying to play that reverse ball into the front man. The problem that he's got is every single time he's done it, Martial has fallen over. So his ball, in terms of playing it in, getting it to stick at Martial, and then running and getting the ball back to him, or getting Martial to spin, he may as well just give the ball back to Wolves, because every time Martial's just not strong enough. I've said countless times, Martial with his back to goal he can't do it. He cannot do it, and it's a shame for United. And it's also why they've signed Igalo, because he can do it. Whatever you think of that signing, he actually can do it. And once you get a ball into the front man and it sticks, well, then you're away. Then you've got options. Then you can get runners off him, and United just don't have it at the moment.
No Odion Igalo today for Manchester United, not signed in time for this one. Dave, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. Elsewhere today in the Premier League, stories all over the division. Let's start with the game at Vicarage Road between Watford and Everton. It was 2-0 to Watford on 45 minutes. On 48 minutes it was 2-2. What happened to Everton against Newcastle a few weeks ago at the end of that game happened for them against the Hornets today, before a very late winner from Theo Walcott gave the Toffees all 3 points. Let's hear from their manager Carlo Ancelotti, speaking with Jeff Peters of TalkSport after that game.
Football is unbelievable, unpredictable. So after what happened last week, where we equalized a game that we deserved to win, this week at the end we were fantastic, because with 10 men we were able to stay in the game and also to score at the end. Fantastic result, and also fantastic second half.
Your team talk at half-time presumably changed within the space of a couple of minutes, when you hadn't particularly played that well, but suddenly you were 2-2 at the break.
Yeah, I think the first part of the game was not good. We lost a lot of contact, we lost a lot of second ball. I think we didn't deserve to score, to equalize the game, but we were a little bit lucky. The second half was really better. I think that we could score early in the second half, and after that the red card of Delft created us a problem, but we were good defensively.
What was your view on the red card or the 2 yellows?
I think it was wrong. The yellow card, but anyway, sometimes can happen that the referee did a wrong decision.
Well, it showed the character of your players, didn't it, with 10 men to come away from home and come from 2-0 down and still go on and win the game, and a great counter-attack to win it.
No, the spirit was good. Above all, the second half, we were more in the game compared to the first half. At the end, we had opportunity, and we did a fantastic counter-attack.
And it moves you away from the relegation zone that little bit further. You may not have been thinking about relegation, but that's always another positive.
Oh, I think we have to look game by game. Now we have another game against Crystal Palace. We are close to the top of the table. This is good for us, and we are going to fight to do the best is possible.
Yeah, I'm not too sure it was worth asking the Everton manager about whether they're going to get relegated, but there you go. Jeff Peters asking the questions there. Carlo Ancelotti doing the answering following their victory earlier today. That was an incredible game. What about this one? London Stadium, West Ham against Brighton. 65 minutes gone in this game, and West Ham were cruising to victory against Brighton by 3-1, and yet again they find a way, West Ham, to commit suicide in a game when they are winning so easily. They've lost more points from winning positions than any other side in the league this season. Let's hear from their beleaguered manager, David Moyes.
Yeah, it does, because to be twice in the lead by 2 goals, you always think, well, it's a good cushion. But I have to say, I think the second half showed the fatigue and the effort the boys put in against Liverpool as well was noticeable. Also bringing a couple of players in, which we felt we needed to do. We needed to sort of freshen the team up. We've done it, but I thought both Mickey Antonio to get 70 minutes and Thomas Souček to get best part of 75 minutes. I thought it was a great effort by them both.
Yeah, bad performance from West Ham following the 65th minute. Somehow Brighton got a draw from that game in the end. West Ham were holding on. David Moyes, well, United fans won't remember him fondly. I'm not too sure West Ham fans will feel very positively about David Moyes come the end of this campaign either. That's not the story at the other end of the table with Chris Wilder. Incredible story this has been for Sheffield United. £20+ million on Sander Berge this week, a new record signing, and they find themselves 5th at the moment following their 1-0 win at Crystal Palace earlier today. Let's hear from Wilder.
Any result on the road is fabulous from our point of view, but to get a win at as tough a place as what it is, difficult game, difficult conditions. You know, they were better than us first half. You know, they jumped on us, didn't allow us to play, even though I don't think they created too much. Maybe a ball across the face of the goal late on in the first half. We talked about their starts to games where they finished really strongly, and it was a sort of a vice versa scenario today where they really started strong. So we were delighted to come in at half time, and we felt we had more in the tank. Bit of a fortuitous goal from our point of view, but after that I thought the team managed the game exceptionally well, created the better chances on the counter-attack, and when they had to put the bodies on the line and defend, they did it magnificently.
When it's going your way, it's going your way, and that's the story for Sheffield United so far this season. A good win for them away at Palace. In our final game of the day, it's still 0-0 between Manchester United and Wolverhampton Wanderers. The second half follows this break. You're listening to Premier League Live.
TalkSport. Download the TalkSport app now for online fun, fixture talk, and lashings of live football. Football. Then stick it in your ear. Ouch. TalkSport. This is what real sport sounds like.
Hello, I'm Tom Rennie from TalkSport, and you've made the decision to listen to Premier League Live. I commend you on this decision. You're clearly a person who knows what's up and what's happening, as well as other phrases from 80s movies said by generic cool people in said movies. For example, Emilio Estevez. With that being said, why not try downloading TalkSport's football-related Game Day podcasts? Ahead of a Premier League weekend, usually on Thursday, Sam Matterface hosts the Game Day Premier League Preview Show podcast. On Saturday, we cut up the very best of our manager reaction and player interviews, bung in a few funny callers, and hey presto, you get the Your Verdict podcast. And on Monday morning, Danny Kelly is joined by the likes of Mark Webster, Mark Smith, Steve Lomas, David Connolly, and a host of other affordable names to look back at the footballing weekend, picking out the winners and losers in the Record Book podcast. Just search for Game Day podcast and they will appear. I'm in some of these shows too.
TalkSport. Don't be like Alan Brazil. Never miss a day's output with the new updated TalkSport app. Is that right, Alan?
I'm absolutely knackered.
Download the app at TalkSport.com. This is what real sport sounds like.
This Saturday is Game Day on TalkSport 2.
Your go-to destination for a full-service Premier League experience.
One day, so much football.
He shoots, he scores.
This Saturday is Game Day on TalkSport 2.
It is game on.
TalkSport. Download the TalkSport app now for online fun, fixture talk, and lashings of live football. Football. Then stick it in your ear. Ouch. TalkSport. This is what real sport sounds like.
Saturday is Game Day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's big ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Hi, I'm Matt Target from Aston Villa.
Hi, I'm Bournemouth centre-back Chris Mepham.
Hi, I'm Jan Vertongen. Listen to Game Day on TalkSport.
Game Day.
It's a brilliant goal.
This Saturday
on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
TalkSport. Get with the net, Grandad. Make space on your mobile for the TalkSport phone app, the channel-hopping, station-swapping gizmo that's taking the UK by storm. It's ear trumpet compatible. Download the TalkSport app now at TalkSport.com.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Manchester United against Wolverhampton Wanderers from Old Trafford, 0-0 at half-time. I'm your host, Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Reading, Stoke and Portsmouth striker, Dave Kitson. This is a Premier League Live, and the good news is that Adama Traore is amongst the substitutes out warming up at the start of this second half for Wolves, and so it seems there are no changes for either team. And Dave, that's good news for both us and for Wolves.
Yeah, it's good news for the game, actually, because he's been one of the few bright points within it. Anything that Wolves do going forward, it certainly seems to come through Traore, so it's good that he's back out there, good that he's fit. Hopefully we'll see more of him in the second half.
For Manchester United, David De Gea is in goal. It's a back four of Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Fred and Bruno Fernandes in the central midfield, Juan Mata in front of them, with Andreas Pereira and Daniel James flitting around left and right around Anthony Martial up front. On the bench, it's Romero, Jones, Lingard, Dalot, Greenwood, Chong and Williams. The Wolverhampton Wanderers, Rui Patricio is the goalkeeper, Conor Cody is the centre of defence player, with Willy Bolly and Roman Saiz either side, João Moutinho, Ruben Neves in the central midfield, Matt Doherty and Johnny Otto right and left, Adama Traore and Diogo Jota supporting the top scorer Raul Jimenez up front. Benches Ruddy, Jordao, Neto, Dent, the new signing, Gibbs White, Dendonka and Kilman. Paul Tierney is our referee, and so far we've not had to go to Mike Dean, the VAR. Rare he'd be involved in a game. We've not spoken about him, but that thankfully is the story so far. United in their home strip here, red shirts, white shorts, black socks. They kick towards the goal away to our left as we're looking. Wolves the other way, left to right in the second half. Black shirts, black shorts and orange or amber socks, depending on how you look at it. Golden maybe. They always say they're a colour, they're not. Look, they're orange, okay?
Ginger socks.
Ginger socks. Yeah. Little tangerine socks. There's one thing you're an expert on.
Yeah. There's one thing I can do.
Yeah. Pick a ginge. A brand new series with Dave Kitson. Down the right-hand side come Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka's cross in. A bit short there. And it's away at the near post from Johnny. Recovered by Jota. Trying to get away from Bruno Fernandes, who slams the door in his face. Fernandes now carries the ball in field. On towards James. Bundle towards Mata. Comes off Saiz last for a United throw by the corner flag on the right-hand side.
It's all a bit crowded, isn't it, when United get it in these positions in the final third.
There's a nice bit of skill there by Wan-Bissaka to get away from Johnny, but then just as he could have crossed it, he looked to try and control it, and the ball goes out over the end line.
Honestly, I feel, as a front man, I can feel the frustration of Martial. I know it's not his strong point, but what is the point in getting to the byline if you're not going to cross the ball? Why run there? It's just ridiculous. Honestly, every single time United get into these positions, they stop and go back.
Goal kick here for Wolves, which Rui Patricio will take. He sent the back three forward as United look to press, and Patricio will go long out towards the near side here. It's not a great goal kick towards Doherty, and Nuno pointing towards Raul Jimenez whilst looking at Patricio tells you he wasn't happy there with that goal kick. Throw in here from Manchester United, who what a bad little mini run themselves here. Lost against Burnley, lost against Liverpool before that. Arsenal beat them 4 games ago, so it's just one win in their last 4 games. Goal scoring has been an issue for them. Failed to score in 7 of their games in the league this season so far. 24.5 gone. Nogalo, the new signing, not in the squad today. They have got a free kick here though on the left hand side, which Fred has whipped in around about the halfway. The free kick came from, it's cleared away by Adama Traore, covered by Fernandes on the halfway line. Return to Wan-Bissaka on the right, midway inside Wolves territory. It's into Juan Mata. Mata back to Fernandes. Fernandes tries to pick a pass. It's hit Moutinho's hands. It's on toward Jota, who's taking on Fred. Fred's done well to stop Jota's run. Fernandes then intercepts. Jota looks to recover possession. And in fact, Diogo Jota's good a free kick away. And he'll be annoyed with himself there.
Yeah, because he outpaced Fred. And I thought he'd just hold the ball up, wait for reinforcements. He thought, I'll try and cut in and go for goal. And he was well crowded out. I don't think that was ever going to happen. Fred always had the beating of him.
Well, Adama Traore looks to get released on the right-hand side here from Neves' first time pass. Maguire stepped across and Traore stepped away from it. Maguire jumps on the ground in hope and the referee gives him a free kick.
Yeah, it did look like that. I'm not sure if there was any contact there.
He's right in front of Nuno, who was not a happy camper there, I think it's fair to say. A strong challenge there by Bolly on Pereira. Pereira then gives it straight to Traore. Luckily for him, Maguire was alert to it, but it's gone to Ruben Neves, who looks up towards Jota. Jota in the area, back towards Jimenez. Jimenez is in there, it's hit Wan-Bissaka on the hand. That's not going to be a handball though, and Man United will get that ball away. Fred now looks right towards Wan-Bissaka. Free kick given against Bruno Fernandes. Now the Wolves players will ask Paul Tierney why that handball wasn't given there against Wan-Bissaka.
Well, I mean, it's a shambles from United once again at the back. I can't see. I mean, it does hit Wan-Bissaka's hand, and it is clear. But there's nothing. He's not even facing that way. There's nothing he can do about it.
High ball down the right channel from United. Covered well by Daniel James. Saïs then holds him up. Gets a bit of afters on Daniel James too, the Moroccan centre-half. Slow him down for next time. Forward ball into Martial, flicked on towards Juan Mata in the area. Cody steps across and clears. Out for a throw on the far side. Taken by Wan-Bissaka. Back to Lindelof. Return ball blocked by Raul Jimenez. Wan-Bissaka with the throw. In towards Fred, who lets the ball run across his body. Maguire in the centre circle, right to Lindelof, back to Maguire again. Jimenez trying to close them down. Out to Shaw. Shaw against Doherty. Infield to Bruno Fernandes. Looks to slip one through a really tight gap, and it's straight at Moutinho. Wolves look to break as Jota finds Raul Jimenez. The top scorer holds it up and goes back to Moutinho. It's helped on now towards Jota, 10 yards away from the corner of the area. Goes back to Moutinho. Ball out to the far side, and Johnny Walsh is happy to keep possession here.
Yeah, again, that's what they do well. If it's not on, they don't try and play it. You see the difference there in what Fernandes did. It's not on, and he tried to play it anyway. Ended up giving the ball away. This is what Wolves do well. Keep the ball, wait for another opportunity, a better one.
Well, back to the goalkeeper. Up towards the halfway again. Forward pass from Raul Jimenez straight at Luke Shaw, but Matt Doherty's won it back. That's a poor challenge there from Bruno Fernandes. Wolves will play on. Jota running at Lindelof. Oh, he's beaten him, and he's beaten Fred, and he's beaten Maguire, and he's in here. Oh, and he just couldn't get the shot away. It's brilliant skill by Diogo Jota. He's beaten 3 United players, but just couldn't get the shot away.
Oh, he actually got me off my seat at the way he took the ball round Lindelof, played it one side, ran the other, Cruyffed it back inside, did all the hard stuff, beats Harry Maguire at the last knock-ins. He does get a tug on the arm, actually, which may well send him to the floor, but I think he feels he should score.
May well have been a penalty there against Maguire. Maybe just didn't get enough of the arm of Jota. Wolves down the right-hand side now with both Neves and Doherty declining the opportunity to cross. They keep possession. Cody in the centre circle looks left to Romain Saïs. He'll find Johnny Otto here. And towards Jota, who's had an up-and-down sort of game on the left-hand side of that front three. Cody diagonal, centre to right. Lovely chest control by Matt Doherty. Tried a little nutmeg there on Luke Shaw. Hit the inside of the calf of Luke Shaw, who recovers it well. Maguire on the edge of his own area. Looks right to Victor Lindelof, who carries United forward. Gets away from the sliding challenge there of Jota. Jota had won that there. United could have been in all sorts of trouble. Bruno Fernandes forward to Mata. Mata runs away from goal with the ball at feet. He'll find Wan-Bissaka. Back towards Juan Mata again, right-hand side. Behind him on the floor is Fred. It's chipped out to the left-hand side, and Pereira up against Doherty. Oh, he tried a back heel, and that'll be sore, sure, but either way, it's not a great one. Always with Bruno Fernandes, out left towards Shaw. Into Fernandes again. Another poor pass from him. Coutinho intercepts. Tough start to the second half for Bruno Fernandes. Pereira gives the ball away on this near side. He was running at 3 players, to be fair to him. Ball still can't get the ball upfield and away. Throw in towards just inside their own half on the right hand side. Up towards Raul Jimenez, who's lost out to the physical strength of Luke Shaw. Again, though, United can't do much with the ball when they get it, and Wolves look upfield. What a lovely first touch by Raul Jimenez to get away from Fred and run in field. He's been brought down by Bruno Fernandes, who he's finally getting yellow carded here, but that's about the 3rd one from him. It's about the 10th one in the game from either side. Yeah. We've had to wait until that moment for someone to finally get booked for stopping an attack.
Yeah, and it's not even the worst one. It is a yellow card, but you could have given 10, like you say previously. It's a beautiful piece of skill from Raul Jimenez, and then he drives at that United defence. And why not? Because that's where they've had encouragement. Certainly in the second half. Tug on the arm, and he goes down.
It's a yellow card on debut for Fernandes. Wolves will take possession from that free kick, and they play it back in their own half. But a good sliding tackle from Wan-Bissaka has got United coming forward again. Held up by Coutinho and Johnny. Wan-Bissaka still going though. No help for him at all, to be fair. And it took the 2 Wolves players combining to stop the advance of the United fullback. Throwing into Fernandes, then to Juan Mata. Neves goes down with a challenge there on Mata, who got the shot away. The referee's pulled it back for a foul by Ruben Neves after the shot.
Yeah, and a yellow card for Neves as well. He's absolutely furious with it. To be honest, he slides right across. The ball has already gone because Mata's already shot, and he slides in between the ball and Mata. I think Mata kicks him, if anything else, on the follow through. No wonder he's incensed with it.
Been yellow carded as well, Ruben Neves, for that challenge.
Yeah,
it's just that bit where referees are like, right, 50 minutes gone now, we can start doing some bookings.
Yeah, it is infuriating. I actually feel Neves' frustration there, and if this goes in, I'm not going to have a happy group of Wolves players.
Free kick is in shooting range for Bruno Fernandes. Fred is over it too. It's just left of centre, 32-ish yards away. Maybe slightly closer than that.
Yeah. Well, Solskjaer said this boy can do everything. We'll get to see him take a free kick. Let's have a look.
Bruno Fernandes is the man most likely. It's on target, but it just wasn't in the corner enough to trouble Rui Patricio unduly.
Yeah, it's a little bit far out to hit the ball like that. Just curling away from Patricio, but it was quite comfortable for him in the end.
Dangerous times here for Wolverhampton Wanderers, because they've kept United at bay. They haven't really been threatened much in the game. Probably been the better of the 2 sides themselves, and yet they aren't leading this match. And if you lost a game like this and you were Wolves, you'd be frustrated, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I tell you, the longer this game goes on, the bigger it's going to be if someone can nick it.
Here's Jota bundling down the left-hand side against Fred. He's done really, really well. Got a cross in too, but it was just over the head of Adama Traore. Recovered here by Doherty, who goes back to Ruben Neves, and he'll find a pass back towards Willy Boly. Of course, we are coming up to the 6th of February, of course, the date of the Munich air crash back in 1958, and we are hearing a round of applause in the 58th minute to commemorate that fact. United coming forward here with Daniel James on the right-hand side. And again, Dave, his cross has hit the defender right in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that he'll learn. He's still a very, very young man. He's been a little bit anonymous in this game and a little bit impotent in front of goal. And the reason is he's dribbling it towards the defender and then trying to cross the ball, and he's just leaving himself nowhere to go. But they'll coach that out of him eventually.
60 minutes on the clock here. It's 0-0 between Manchester United and Wolves. Ball has gone up for a throw on this near side. Fred for United looks right to Wan-Bissaka. Nice bit of skill to get away from Moutinho. He then finds Juan Mata. Oh, it's a lovely first-time effort from Mata on the turn. It's not too far wide, but wide it is.
That's the closest United have come. Juan Mata getting into that little pocket just on the edge of the D, which he's so good at doing. He doesn't get a bad strike on it either. And it's missed the post by the same margin. He had Patricio scrambling. That's definitely as close as United have come.
And it's a lovely bit of rolling back the years there from Juan Mata. Of course, a big money signing here when David Moyes was in charge back in 2014. Incredible to think how long he's been at the club now. Seen through Moyes, Mourinho, Van Gaal. And he's back in the team again under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Just 31 as well. I feel like he must be 47.
I know, it's frightening, isn't it?
Here he is now, passing cross field. Finds Shaw. Shaw with a cross towards the back post, which Johnny heads away for Wolves. Recovered by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Into Daniel James. Back to Wan-Bissaka again. Fernandes now. Under pressure, Bruno Fernandes, but he turns away from his man Jota. It's right to Wan-Bissaka. James back towards Fernandes again, who crosses early towards Martial. It's away by Bolly and further away by Matt Doherty for Wolves. Throw in to United, who are just getting a bit of prolonged pressure in the Wolves half for the first time in some time. Into Fred. Fred right to Wan-Bissaka. Cross is blocked by the man standing in front of him. This time it's Johnny.
Well, it's better from United, you know. They've finally had a cross that somebody's had to defend. You've got to make defenders defend and pull them about and move them about and get them to do unnatural things. That's the first time they've been playing for an hour. It's the first cross, really, that United have put in to test that back three.
Wolves clear towards Traore. Shaw has beaten him to it. United have possession again. They have lost this possession across the entire piece, Manchester United. 63 in their favour to 37 for Wolverhampton Wanderers, though it has been a bit more even in this second period. 7 attempts at goal each, 2 on target each. Nothing really of note in the second half to talk about at either end. With regards to a save, Patricio's from Fernandes free kick, maybe the best of what the keepers have had to do. Here's Fred in the centre circle, looking over to this near side. Chip towards Shaw, it comes off the head of Traore. Not seen him really get the chance to run at Luke Shaw in this second period so far. Flicked in towards Bolly, who gets there before Martial. Here is Traore, then away from his man. He gets away from another man, and the referee has stopped him because he was initially fouled. He's always going to get fouled. Let him play on.
Yeah, he was going to get fouled, yeah. I thought the referee could have let that go for a moment because he turned out beautifully from the challenge and he was away. And that would have been the first time we've seen him to run, because United have clearly spoken about this at half-time.
And now the referee's got another problem. I think it might be because Nuno has had something to say here to the fourth official about the incompetence of Paul Tierney.
Yeah.
And Paul Tierney has come over and he's actually booked the manager Nuno.
It's ridiculous from the referee. It really is, because there is the referee who's made the mistake, and yet Nuno gets punished for it. It's embarrassing.
And Chris Kavanagh is the fourth official today, who's getting an earful from Nuno to his left. And we now play on with that free kick up towards Adama Traore. Looks to help it on towards Raul Jimenez, and he does, and Jimenez has hooked it on towards Traore. Two players have combined for more goals than any other pairing in the league this season. It's across from Traore. Jota miscontrolled it. Johnny wasn't there on the cover, and Daniel James can start the counter. It's a good recovery tackle by Johnny.
Absolutely
to get Wolves
brilliant.
back on it. And then Moutinho tried to find him with the pass that was poorly hit. And Wan-Bissaka gets Manchester United back on the ball. Here's Juan Mata, 10 yards inside his own half. He turns away from his man and finds a pass down the line to Martial, but it's slightly overhit towards Martial, who was then pushed over Roman Saitis, and it's a scrappy old affair now.
Yeah, I think this is my frustration with Martial, to be honest. As a front man, he seems to frustrate himself, but the frustration seems to come from things that he does or doesn't do.
But again, is he a centre forward? That's been the story.
Yeah, I don't know. There are things that he does where you just think, wow, and other times you wonder whether he's even on the pitch.
Been a long old time since that debut goal against Liverpool, which got hearts fluttering at the Stretford end.
Yeah. We thought that was going to be the start of something amazing. But yeah, that said, his goals record isn't too shabby for United. I would just like to see more from him in the context of the overall game.
He scored his 50th goal for United against Wolves in the Premier League earlier this season. Only time he has scored against them. Maybe a chance for him now as United come forward with Mata on the right. Pokes it in towards the path of Daniel James, who can keep it on, but two players around him on the end line. It wasn't easy, and one is Saiss, who loves to win the ball back for his team, and he's done it again there. Great from Raul Jimenez. Back towards Neves, on towards Traore. They've done well, Fred and Shaw, to win it back. Fred coming forward, he's done well to find Pereira in the area. Low cross, blocked by Bolly, into Luke Shaw for United. Back to Fred again, shot blocked by Moutinho. They're screaming handball, but I don't think you'll be getting that one even on VAR with Mike Dean at Stockley Park. Here's Traore, bouncing his way forward, finds Jota, whose cross is woeful. Recovered by Jimenez, back to Neves. Not sure they know what they're doing here, Wolves, around the United penalty area. Jimenez again, into Jota in the area, dummies to shoot once then twice. Back towards Traore on the edge, does shoot, blocked by Shaw. And it's cleared away by Mata. Recovered on the halfway line by Wolves. They just weren't busting a gut to get in there, were they, Wolves?
They weren't, and United really weren't busting a gut to try and get the ball back from Wolves, even though they were in quite a dangerous position. It's a funny passage of play.
Sure, Nuno will find it too funny. Or are they going to Solskjaer for that matter? Shaw is just starting to be a bit more physical with Adama Traore, and he's beaten him again here. Fernandes fading a bit in the match on debut, finds a forward pass to the hard-working Pereira, but not too sure that attacking left wing is his best role. Modern day Phil Neville, utility man of Old Trafford.
Yeah, and actually Bolly has dealt with him very, very well. Bolly's been one of the best players on the pitch.
It's a good forward ball to Bruno Fernandes, who drives from distance. Oh, it's on target, and the goalkeeper dropped it as he was running out right. Patricio spilled it, but he carried it just wide enough to see it go for a corner, and not the first goal.
Well, it's a dangerous dipping shot from Fernandes, and I think Patricio thinks this is so easy, he's just going to throw his hat on it, and he loses his concentration.
Just getting a replay of that handball shout against Moutinho as well. You're never going to get that.
No, his arms are by his side. It does strike his elbow, but they're tucked in. I think it's the right decision.
Corner taken. Fernandes back to Shaw. Return to Bruno Fernandes. Away at the near post. Wasn't a good delivery, and there's a foot race on here for Jota. Shaw will get there first, heads it into his own path, and he's actually done really well there, Luke Shaw. Turns forward too. Jota maybe just wasn't strong enough in the challenge. United have worked it out right to James, who's running at Johnny. He's round the outside of him. Gets the deep cross in, but it's too deep for anyone in red. Recovered by Doherty on the other side, who clears it upfield. In fact, the ball had gone out of play before Matt Doherty could volley the ball upfield, and that's a United throw which they've already taken. Pereira running towards the penalty area, down a blind alley really into four black-shirted Wolves players. Traore then runs Wolves out of danger, and he's already up towards the halfway line. Traore. Oh, and he's found a pass right to Jimenez, who's goal side of Harry Maguire. He's forced a bit wide. Oh, he shoots on target. Well, it's saved by David De Gea. It's flying in the top corner. De Gea had two strong hands up to stop that being the first goal for Wolves.
Oh, it's brilliant from Traore, from the edge of his box, right the way through, yet again, right the way through United's midfield and defence. And Jimenez, it's the second touch from Jimenez because he controls the ball well from the Traore pass, and he wants to cut in and go directly towards the goal, but his second touch just takes him away slightly, and that closes the angle, gets good power on the shot, but there's not a lot to hit, and De Gea uses both his hands to tip it over for a corner. Great play from Traore.
Change here for Wolves. Diogo Jota has gone off after a hard-working 60-odd minutes or so out there. Neto is on to replace him, the 21-year-old, a favourite of the manager, Pedro Neto. Certainly has pace to burn. He's right on the goalkeeper here for this corner on the right. Moutinho's ball in. It's away by Bruno Fernandes. Nice control by Daniel James to bring United upfield. Up against Traore, pokes towards Martial. The retreating Saiss is able to sweep things up for Wolves. 70 minutes gone. It's still 0-0 at Old Trafford.
Yeah, that's what I mean with Dan James. It's just that, just hanging on to the ball for just a couple of seconds too long.
It's not a game that screams there's going to be a winner.
Well, no, and with 20 minutes to go, it's a massive goal in the context of the league, whoever can get it.
That's a handball by Moutinho. That ball was just bouncing past him, and he should be yellow carded for an intentional handball.
Yeah.
Looks like Paul Tierney has found his cards in this second half. That's a clear handball. Well, we saw a clear handball earlier on at London Stadium, and the goal was given, so I mean, who knows what a handball is these days.
And he's got in.
20 minutes remaining. Free kick's just over the halfway line. It's forward towards Shaw. It's on towards Pereira, who takes a snapshot on the left-hand side of the area, and it's a tame one that goes into the hands of Rui Patricio.
Yeah, they just switch off a little bit there, Wolves. Luke Shaw drives at it, tries to cross, and he gets a deflection into the path of Pereira on that inside left. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend it into that far corner. Doesn't get enough on it. It's straight down Patricio's throat. A nice, comfortable catch.
Andreas Pereira is withdrawn after a hard-working, we have been critical at times, a hard-working performance from him. Mason Greenwood is on to replace him, who's actually the United's second top scorer this season across all competitions, behind Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, it's not really been Pereira's day, giving the ball away quite a lot. We can see him on the bench, and he's certainly not happy with himself. Frustration.
So will that mean Martial comes out to this near side, potentially? Greenwood through the centre? Well, we won't know as yet, because there's a free kick on the halfway line to Wolves here, which means United are in defensive shape. But it does look like Greenwood has gone up through the centre.
Yeah, and that's where I like to see him. We have seen Solskjaer play him out on the right, but for me, he's a goal scorer. Just play him in the middle, get the ball in and around him, and he will make something happen.
Well, Wan-Bissaka's been robbed here by the pressing of Wolves. Neto running forward. Wan-Bissaka with a strong recovery tackle, but he's lost it again here. And it's Moutinho on the corner of the area. Moutinho's effort. He's underneath it, João Moutinho. And the ball flies over David De Gea's goal.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka does well to win it back initially, and then gives it away. Moutinho gets him. We've seen him do it, haven't we, from that position? Just bend it into that far top corner, Coutinho-esque. On that occasion, which one's the back of the stand?
74 minutes gone here. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0 on Premier League Live. First touch here for Greenwood, pokes it forward towards Wan-Bissaka over the halfway line. It's back to Greenwood again. Behind him is Fernandes, forward towards Martial. Now out on the left-hand side, Martial helps it on to Shaw. Cross comes in, hits Greenwood on the backside, loops in the air, it's away by Bolly. Shaw then beats Neves to it, into the feet of Mata, back to Luke Shaw. Good challenge by Adama Traore, and Ruben Neves can bring Wolves upfield, and he's just looked after the ball so well there before finding a pass back towards Doherty, who kicks it into touch because There seems to be an issue here with Adama Traore.
He's taken a whack on that ankle, on his left ankle. It looks as if he might be alright. It's obviously a painful one, though, for the Wolves to put the ball out.
It's quite interesting, isn't it, with Adama Traore? People like him and Mikel Antonio are so physical. They look like boxers rather than footballers. Yeah. They're always injured.
It's funny, isn't it? They look like they're built for a different sport, actually. I mean, really, if you look at footballers, there's not really a lot on them. But there certainly is on Traore. He's a physical animal, there's no doubt about it, but he seems to bring him problems.
Now he's gone down on the floor after the referee had asked him to go off to get some treatment. And we might well be seeing a debut here for Daniel Podence, who is a former teammate of Bruno Fernandes at Sporting Lisbon. Yet another Portuguese player in this match, and at Wolverhampton Wanderers, brought in for just shy of £17 million during this transfer window. But however good he is, it's tough to replace Adama Traore in this team.
Yeah, it's a shame if he does go off here. It looks like he might, because he's been fantastic for Wolves, carrying that ball and carrying the game in many ways towards Manchester United. He really has been a threat.
Podence is ready. 24 years of age, making the step into the Premier League. Pouring water all over his hair before he goes on, which is a bit weird. Did you have any pre-match rituals like that if you came on as a sub?
No.
Looks like he's doing a bit of a Triple H thing here, covering himself in water before spitting out as he comes on.
Yeah.
Carl Walker doing that for a while.
I'm not sure what that's about, but do you know what? I'm one of those that, were I a manager or a coach, whatever makes the players happy, whatever they want to do, just let them do it.
He's got a very flat haircut as Podence, so I'm not really sure what he was doing there. He wasn't giving his body his hair more body or volume before coming on. Very strange. Yeah. Anyway, he is on, and Adama Traore is off. That is a blow for Wolves, no doubt. The new number 10 is on. 76 minutes on the clock. It's 0-0. Nana has tweeted in saying, has Pereira ever had a day? Another bang average player who should be shipped out in the summer. It's harsh, but I wouldn't disagree with you across the times that I've seen Pereira. I'm not too sure he's a Manchester United level player. And again, what is their level at this point? It's a question for the ages that we don't have time for now. Here's Juan Mata into the feet of Greenwood, back to goal, ricochet pass, finds Martial. Podence around him, he clears it as far as Fred. Chip left to Mata, just outside the area, left hand side. Return towards Fred again. To his right is Bruno Fernandes. To Wan-Bissaka right, out of his feet. Running at Neto. Cross comes in, it's away by Cody. Out of play for a United throw on the right, which Wan-Bissaka's already taken. Bruno Fernandes now. Forward towards Daniel James. Back to Fernandes. Volley intercepts for Wolves, and they can bring the ball clear, but Doherty's pass towards Podence was really poor, straight at short. United found Juan Mata. Mata for Fred. To his right is Greenwood, approaching the area, chops inside and shoots a goal. Oh, it nearly went off Bolly. It wasn't a great effort. Bolly swung a right boot at it. It was still on target, but it was still close enough to Rui Patricio, who could adjust and make the save.
Well, he's done brilliantly, Patricio. He really has. I thought this was in, and actually it gets one deflection off Bolly and another one off Cody, and actually the deflection off Cody takes it back towards Patricio, and if it doesn't hit Cody, it's 1-0 to Manchester United.
Well, there's the luck you need sometimes in games, going the way of Wolves. And now on a free kick here off Lindelof, who should have been yellow carded earlier on. And this is why you get more fouls in the game, because if they do yellow card worthy things, they should get yellow cards. And he's brought down Neto here, who rolled him beautifully. Lindelof shakes his head. And we all are, mate. You should have got a second yellow for that one.
Well, what a difference Greenwood's made, actually. So he's like a magnet, isn't he? The ball is just attracted to him in the box. And we can see him pointing, get the ball wide, cross the ball, get it into me. And things happen around him.
Free kick here, left-hand side for Wolves. Midway inside United territory, crossed by Martinho. It's Saiz who's there. He's got pedigree, Roman Saï, scoring goals from those sorts of situations, but that's a poor header that's over the top.
Oh, it's a shame because he's onside, and the ball is a bit flighty. It's not the best free kick I've ever seen, and Saï seems to get underneath. It's a free header in the middle of the 6-yard box, and it's like a defender's clearance, and he is a defender, but really he ought to be scoring there. And yet again, how does that ball come in? And he's just left all alone in front of De Gea. Unbelievable.
10 minutes remaining of normal time here, still goalless at Old Trafford. Hasn't necessarily been the most entertaining fare so far. Good game to win though when you're not playing well. Here's Wan-Bissaka against Pedro Neto. He's got the strength to beat him and gets a cross in too on the end line right hand side. It's blocked at the second by Johnny, and that's a corner to Manchester United. Fred over to take it. Oh, particular ovation from the United fans in that corner as he goes to take it. 10 minutes remaining of normal time. Corner taken short to Mata. Back towards Fernandez, whose pass is poor. It's straight to Neto, who takes on Fred on the outside. Finds a forward pass to Raul Jimenez, who's up over the halfway. Oh, Traore now, of course. Oh, he's done well to get away from Fernandez. Still going here, Raul Jimenez running up against Wan-Bissaka, who gets the challenge in, and that's a great break away from Wolves, which sees them winning a corner in the end.
He's done really well, and it's come from a Manchester United corner. I will never... Short corners, I just despise them. You've got Harry Maguire, Lindelof. If the ball is right and it's got enough pace on it, across the near post, and you get those two running, it only needs a glance. What is the point in sending them up and playing a short corner like that?
Wolves, the 5th corner of the match. Can they make this one pay? Goal now would surely be crucial. It's into Neto, back to Matinho, then to Johnny, who tries a return pass towards Matinho, who's onside. Low cross comes in. Eventually they just toss it in the area anyway.
It's who can take the worst short corner, and I think it's a draw. Honestly, as a striker, there is nothing worse. Just cross the ball. Let the strikers do their business.
Well, it's throw-in for Wolves on the far side after Martial's clearance from the cross. Down the line to Neto. James keeps it on after Wan-Bissaka's challenge. Fernandez does well to get away from Matinho. Maybe a bit of luck in it too. Crossfield to Shaw. He's knocked forward, intercepted by Doherty. Broke back to him. Cleared upfield towards Martial. Bolly gets his body in the way and shippers it out for a throw-in on this near side. Shane Donnelly getting the call.
Thought it was going to be Ollie for a minute.
Maybe he's got a taxi waiting outside, and I think a few of us wish we had one as well.
Yeah. Called Uber early.
Manchester United still have time to entertain their adoring fans, who once again have packed out Old Trafford. Not seen a vintage showing so far. Maybe the chance will come now, as Mata goes right to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Into Daniel James, back to Juan Mata again. Mata's chipped forward to Greenwood. It's away by Cody. Covered by Fred. Fred to Fernandez. Back to Fred again. Outright to Juan Mata. Mata to Wan-Bissaka. Infield to Fred. Dummies to shoot and finds Daniel James. James to Martial. Martial's got two players around him, and they have won the ball back, and that's a bad challenge there from Luke Shaw. Went to ground, clear yellow card, and annoyed with maybe Martial there, I think, more than anything, Luke Shaw.
Yeah, he is. I don't know what Martial's trying to do, because it comes to him on his right foot, and it's teed up just to try and bend one in that far corner, and I don't know what he tries to do. Bit of skill that's completely unnecessary, loses it, and it's cost Luke Shaw a yellow card as he tries to stop the breakaway. And
it's a free kick to Wolves midway inside their own half, allowing them to slow the play down again. I still don't feel a 0-0 draw is a great result for Wolves here, though. You've got to win these kind of games. You've got to get above United. They would stay behind them with a draw.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't anything to choose between the teams, is there?
Neto into Podence. Nice bit of close control from the debutant. Recovered by Doherty. Then to Podence again. Corner of the area, right hand side. Back to goal. Pokes it back to Neves. Podence wants it again around the back of Fred. Here he is now. Low cross to Doherty. Oh, and it's a really good piece of defending there from Maguire, who just sniffed out the danger and got his body in the way.
It's brilliant from Maguire. It really is, because he sees the danger before anybody else. Comes across, and Doherty's going to score. They get in behind. Fred's taken his eye off the ball here. And Doherty's going to sweep that in at the near post. Maguire comes across and blocks him for a corner. Great defending.
Nearly a debut assist there for Podence in the penalty area. Instead, his team have a corner on the right-hand side. Coutinho with the delivery. It's a good ball to Saiss. He's there, but he heads against Maguire. Forward by Podence, on to Raul Jimenez, who's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The offside flag had gone up, but of course you've always got to play on now, because you never know. It will be checked by VAR.
Absolutely, and just as well, because if he had been onside, that would have been one of the misses of the season.
Just almost passed it, David De Gea, one-on-one. No, we're getting the replay now. He's miles off, actually.
Yes.
He obviously knew he was off. That's what he'll say anyway.
Maybe he was trying to pass it back to De Gea.
Final 5 here at Old Trafford. Fred's given the ball away. Jimenez has robbed him. Wolves looking to break with Neto. Well, it's a good ball round the back of Lindelof. If Jimenez has the pace, he does, and they're getting bodies forward now, Wolves. Oh, and he's tried a bit of skill, Raul Jimenez, and he's missed the ball. And it's allowed United to steal it, and they can break down the other end. That's annoying for Wolves, who are sending bodies forward. Charge though for United. James takes Saiss on the outside, crosses too heavy towards the back post, recovered by Juan Mata though. He'll find Martial. Shaw behind him. Neto with the challenge. Referee gives the free kick. Neto has tripped Luke Shaw.
Well, that was quite extraordinary from Jimenez. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. What was it, a step over he was trying to do? Or
he was trying to do a no-look pass? Or something like that?
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Well, whatever it was, it's led to a United free kick in a really good position.
It's almost like he just gave up on this game, as maybe a few of you out there feel like doing as well, following the 87 minutes that have passed to this point. But we know what it's like. We had an awful game a couple of weeks ago, Newcastle-Chelsea, and we got that 90th minute crescendo with the Newcastle winner, so it's always worth sticking around as Fred's delivery comes in towards Lindelof. Maguire! Oh, and he's beaten the goalkeeper with the shot, but he's then scuffed it beyond him, and it's smuggled away by Wolves.
Oh, he's got such a good strike of the ball as well, Maguire, but he didn't show it here. I just thought he's going to put his foot through this, and this is going to fly into the roof of the net. And it ends up being almost a cutback. He mishits it that badly.
Big chance. Goes a begging at the Stretford end. Changes here for United. Diogo Dalot is on for Daniel James. Is that? Yeah, it will be Daniel James. Looks like Juan Mata might be withdrawn here as well. They just seem to have got the board wrong there for a second. It's Lingard for Mata and Dalot for James. Those aren't the confirmed substitutions. So Mata walked off at the end of the field now, as is the way. Corner here for Manchester United. Fred will take it. Juan Mata just hanging around behind the net for this corner to be taken. I'm not sure if that helps or hinders things.
I don't know. It's bizarre, isn't it, to see it?
And now we do get on with the corner. Fred's ball in. Cody flicks on. Lindelof wins the next header. Doherty then has beaten his own goalkeeper to the ball. It's bouncing around. It's cleared away by Ruben Neves. Recovered on this near side by Dalot, but then Shaw has been beaten here by Johnny, who looked to poke it through. Lovely turn of pace here by Neto, who got there before Wan-Bissaka. But he loves to go to ground, doesn't he, Aaron Wan-Bissaka? And he slid in and got there just before Neto could get him round the back.
He had to as well, didn't he? Because Neto was away, and he's come from a long way away, Wan-Bissaka, from one full-back position to the other. And that was a great tackle.
There's Bruno Fernandes. It's a lovely big diagonal towards the run of Jesse Lingard, cleared away by Saïs, lumped upfield by Johnny. Lindelof's chest control gets United back on it. Jimenez nearly steals it off him. Just got away with that one there, Lindelof. Couple of bits of dodgy control. Here's Shaw. He's away from Doherty. Shaw in towards Maguire. Maguire outright towards Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Fred now. Recovered well by Ruben Neves. Chipped upfield. That's not going to find Podence. He's going to find Fernandes. Lingard's first touch helps it on towards Shaw. Cleared away. Only towards the halfway, and suddenly United look like they're on for the winner here.
Yeah, I think Wolves have stuck, haven't they? Going to take the draw. They're going to try at least.
Martial turns Saïs, but Saïs snaps back at it. Podence to Neves. Neves clear, but everyone's come so deep now for Wolves that Maguire can pick this up for the first time today, really, with no one around him. Short to Lindelof. On towards Fred. Fred chips it crossfield to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. As you heard, 4 minutes added on, and maybe that put off Wan-Bissaka there as he miscontrolled that, and it goes straight into touch. Just being kind. And further to support the argument, Wolves are sticking. They're taking the striker Raul Jimenez off, and he will be replaced by the defensive midfielder Leander Dendoncker for these 4 additional minutes.
Well, he's been very good today, actually, Raul Jimenez. Very good indeed for his team. Ran the channels when he's needed to, held it up, and he's looked dangerous. He's had a couple of chances himself, and you have to say, if he was on the other side, it would have been a home victory.
Still wandering off here, Raul Jimenez.
No, you can't blame him.
He was in the centre circle, so there was no nearest available sideline to walk off at. Dendoncker is on. Throwing for Wolves on the far side. Help down the line towards Neto. Intercepted by Wan-Bissaka. Fred then looks into Shaw. Back towards Maguire. Maguire trying to find Lindelof. It was slightly overhit. Bruno Fernandes recovers it and finds Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's into Greenwood. Greenwood to Shaw. 10 yards away from the area, left hand side. Finds Dalot outside of him. Back towards Shaw again. Return to Dalot. Maguire forward. Dalot again on the left hand side. Forgotten man at Old Trafford. Lingard square to Fernandes. Fernandes will find Martial. Back to Bruno Fernandes. Right hand side of centre. Into Greenwood. Helps on to Martial. 3 players around him. There's no way to get through the centre. And now's a chance for Podence to run at Lindelof. Still got he and Neto forward, despite Traore and Jimenez going off. Here's Neto in the area on the right. Cuts it back. It's into Podence. Looking for a debut goal. Turn and shot was blocked.
Yeah, they got back well, United, to snuff that out. Just for a moment, there was a little half chance that opened up.
Here's Johnny running at Wan-Bissaka. Breaks to Podence, who lets it go out for a throw by the corner flag left hand side. And you can see he's annoyed with himself there, Podence. It was just for a second, as you say, on for him.
Yeah, and but this is, it's just another show of how vulnerable United are at the back. You know, Wolves are a good team, but a more incisive team. And this game was there for the taking. It looked anything other than convincing at the back.
Throw in by the corner flag, which Wolves are in no rush to take at all. In towards Matinho, back towards Johnny on that far side, running at Wan-Bissaka. It's hit him last, and that's going to be a goal kick for Manchester United as we enter the final minute of this game. Not one that will live long in the memory unless something can be done here by either the home or away teams. Fernandes carries the ball to the halfway. On towards Jesse Lingard, who then leaves it for Greenwood. Greenwood back to Fred, who goes left to Shaw. We are in Fergie time, attacking the Stretford end, but Willy Volley is having none of that. Steps across Lingard to get Wolves on it. 2 players around him, stopping him clearing it, and it's actually come off him last for a throw to Manchester United. Crossfield to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's around his marker here, and he crosses too. Oh, and it's a header that should have gone in, and it hasn't. It's Dalot from close range. Oh, I think he thought the body was going to clear it. He's missed it, and the substitute from 6 yards, sitting on his backside, has headed the ball wide.
Well, it's the best chance of the game, and it's probably the last kick of the game, and it shows us 2 things. 1, what happens when you actually cross the ball for a change, and 2, United don't have a striker, because that's a horrendous miss from Dalot. 6 yards out, crouching down. It's a fairly simple header, and he's put it inexplicably wide, and that really does sum up the game, and it sums up Manchester United's performance.
Maybe the signing of Odi Nagalo looks a little bit more sensible after this game. Someone to cross the ball too, but if you do, you might have a chance. There's the final whistle, and apart from some debutants who will remember this one for positive reasons, Dave, I'm not too sure anyone else will.
It won't live long in the memory, will it? But that was the chance. That was the chance for Dalot, and he knows it. It's shot over his head. He really should have scored, but so unconvincing, United. They really are. They really are. And another thing with Ollie coming out smiling and clapping, and it's just embarrassing. It's just another shocking performance. It really is. They do nothing from an entertainment perspective. It's difficult to see where they're going as a team or what they're trying to achieve.
Full time, it's finished 0-0. Here's the best of it, such as it was. Martial again. Return ball out to that side. Daniel James leaves it for Shaw. Shaw's low cross into Bruno Fernandes. Shot was on target by Fernandes, but straight at the goalkeeper. Jota running at Lindelof. Oh, he's beaten him, and he's beaten Fred, and he's beaten Maguire, and he's in here. Oh, and he just couldn't get the shot away. It's brilliant skill by Diogo Jota. He's beaten 3 United players, but just couldn't get the shot away. Fred for United looks right to Wan-Bissaka. Nice bit of skill to get away from Matinho. He then finds Juan Mata. Oh, it's a lovely first-time effort from Mata on the turn. It's not too far wide, but wide it is. Traore then runs towards out of danger. But he's already up towards the halfway line, Traore. Oh, and he's found a pass right to Jimenez, who's goal side of Harry Maguire. He's forced a bit wide. Oh, he shoots on target. But it's saved by David De Gea. It's flying in the top corner. De Gea had 2 strong hands up to stop that being the first goal for Wolves. Yeah, that's the story of it. Dave Kitson watched it alongside me. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing a victory lap here at Old Trafford for those that have still stayed for inexplicable reasons. It's the away fans of Wolverhampton Wanderers that will be happier of the 2. What went wrong with Man United today? Why didn't they create the chances? Why haven't they scored a goal?
They just don't have anything that resembles a striker. I know Martial does score goals, but when he plays like this, it's like carrying another man. You know, every time Fernandes, who was completely undermined today with his passing ability, every time he tried to play it in, Martial just fell over. They had nothing in the shape of anything in the box that looked as if it was going to do something to score a goal for United. It was just, it's so frustrating to watch.
Bruno Fernandes in the second half was a bit of a fading force.
Yeah, well, I mean, he ended the game with his socks around his ankles. I think he gave everything, but he's one of those midfielders that looks better if he's got a target man. He's got someone to play into, someone that can read him. At the moment, every time he was looking up, the only thing he had was to go wide. And for some reason, United didn't want to cross the ball. And maybe it's because he didn't have anything in the middle, but you've got to do something. You've got to try to make something happen. I actually felt for him. I felt for him, and getting the big build-up from Ollie before the game as well didn't help.
Yeah, the new Paul Scholes. Not today for Bruno Fernandes. For Wolves, a couple of good performances from them, but as soon as they lose Adama Traore, as would happen to anybody, they do look less of a force, don't they? Are they happy with that point?
I think they probably will be, especially given that United missed a gilt-edged chance with the last kick of the game through Dalot's header. Traore ripped Luke Shaw apart today. He really did. He was the most dangerous player. He was their out ball. very, very skillful, very pacey. On another day, Wolves could quite easily have nicked this. They had the chances to do it. Saiz had a header, free header in the middle of United's 6-yard box that he put over, and Raul Jimenez took the ball slightly too wide and forced a save from De Gea. But probably, on the evidence that we've seen, certainly, 0-0's probably right.
0-0 it was. Dave Gibson, thank you very much indeed for your company for this one. It's a result which means at the end of Saturday's game, Sheffield United are 5th in the table, above Manchester United and Wolverhampton Wanderers, chasing down Chelsea. We are back with you tomorrow. 2 games in the Premier League, Burnley against Arsenal and Tottenham against Manchester City. It's finished 0-0 here, and we can only apologise. It will be more entertaining tomorrow, I promise. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Saturday is game day on TalkSport and TalkSport 2.
It's big ticket live Premier League football you can't afford to miss.
Hi, Frank Lampard here.
Hi, I'm Jack Grealish from Game Day.
I'm Nick Pope, Burnley goalkeeper.
I'm Ross Barkley. Remember that Saturday is game day on TalkSport.
Game day.
It's a brilliant goal.
This Saturday
on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League.
TalkSport. Impress lost tribespeople of the Andes by demonstrating the new updated TalkSport app. Listen live, listen again, and listen good, Buster. Download the app at TalkSport.com now.
Hello, Jim White here. Now, if you're wondering about all the background hullabaloo, I'm helping out as lifeguard at the brand new TalkSport swimming pool. Goff! No running there, boy! But never mind that. Join me tomorrow morning from 10, when I'll be up to my neck in the warm, chlorinated waters of the day's biggest sports stories. Come plunge with me, Jim White, straight in at the deep end of the action.
Weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport. The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on TalkSport.
Get a pickled egg, some pork scratchings and a punch-up on a pool table. In the tasty local battle cruiser, where you get 2 Cockney Loudmouths for the price of 1.
The usual, is it, sir? 2 Nelsons and a packet of jellied ill-flavoured crisps.
Cool, blimey, I love a duck, governor. It's time, gentlemen, please,
To listen to the Sports Bar.
open for business weeknights from 10 on TalkSport.
TalkSport. Catch up and listen up without having to cough up. It's free. Go to TalkSport.com and download the app today. Or don't. Your choice entirely.
Welcome back to Badger Watch. We've been unlucky the last 2 nights, and unfortunately we haven't seen any Badgers yet, but fingers crossed we'll be in luck tonight. Hang on. I think this might be it. It looks like something is about to emerge from the den.
Excuse me, mate. Do you know if there's a bookies around here anywhere? The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport.
Discovering a brave new world of big names, big games, bravado, bully and bookies. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6.
Crikey, it's Alanus Brazilius
On TalkSport. TalkSport. Confuse bookmakers, impress football agents, and entertain the kids with the improved TalkSport app. Totally fun, totally free, totally football. Download it now from TalkSport.com.
Hey, kids, take my mobile and go over there and play or something. Don't press the button that says Tinder.
TalkSport.